hello, welcome in, hello my favorite gamers. Today's Floundering Void Friday. As you can clearly see, nothing's actually properly working as per usual. It's another day. It's just another day that ends in Y here. Let's see. If I can fix it. This is what I get for getting like 5 hours of sleep and rolling out of bed. Everything's fine and dandy. Hello everybody. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me see if I can try to fix the chat overlay so you actually get representative, right? I want to make sure you guys get your representation for Floundering Void Friday here. Also, I woke up to some good news from with Restore Britain, so I was trying to like gather that real quick. I don't have all the pieces. This is my last resort. But you know, it's once again, it's another day that ends in Y. Are you are you expecting anything better from me? You should. The answer should be no. Apparently this thing needs to be updated. Why must you throw an update on me right when I roll out of bed? My God, it really is Floundering Friday here. Okay, let me try to do this. Let me try to update my chat software here. And see how that works. Live on stream. Oh, we're fine. Are you sick or did you just wake up? I just woke up. I stayed up too late reading smut. Yeah. Well, not actual smut. We're doing another milking farm book this Saturday on Arch's channel. It's been a while since we've done one, actually. Let me see if I can pull the stream up real quick. I should have, once again, that's another thing I should have probably done before stream, but it's fine. For those who don't know, those who are new here or don't also watch Arch, there was that milking farm book, More in Glory milking farm book, that was about Minotaur milking, and it was like a huge discourse online quite a few months ago at this point. And a man twice my age forced me to read it for his own entertainment, and we made a stream about it. And then that was a hit, and so he did it for our second book. Let me see if I can find the original down here somewhere. And then now we're doing a third book. So it has been a while since we've actually done the second book. So this is, by the way, once again, this is not something that this is not something that like I do with my own volition, right? It's not something that I want to do. It's being there we go. There we go. Oh my God, that was 6 months ago. My God, time sure does fly when you're having fun reading smut. And the third one is for this Saturday here. She's been studying, boys. Yes, apparently I've been studying here. Don't forget how you got noticed by Aswin for gargling minnow cum. I'll be honest, I don't even remember that. I don't even really remember that, and I don't really think I really want to remember that, I'll be honest. I have shown up on Aswin's, like, he hasn't actually, like, noticed me specifically, like, look at this stupid VTuber here, you know, like he sometimes does. So, it's just been, like, and weird, like, faint references. Like, he had us, like, my, there was a shooting last year, and I honestly, I forget at this point what it's about. Oh, because there's so many of them. Welcome to America. And I made a joke that it was Sam Hyde that did it, like Samuel Hydeen or something, like one of those like typical jokes, because you know it's Sam Hyde, and he read that off on stream, and he was like, oh. But honestly, and I'll save my thoughts for Saturday, because that's, you know, Saturday's thing. But there wasn't that much smut. and actually it wasn't that bad of a book, but I will leave it at that. For I need a little cliffhanger, need a little hook for this Saturday. You know, tune in for high key, high profile, high brow discussions over women's lit clit fantasy books. uh, Oh, thank you, Chain Reaction, for the 10 warp tokens. Oh, by the way, thank you for the 10 warp tokens at the end of Wednesday's stream. Sorry I missed it with how the stream ended, but thank you for 20 total. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Terminus Estimate, for being a subby puppy for 2 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will pop you out of my vagina in a few months here. Afternoon, I'm all ready to start this Friday off with a bang. Actually, yes, there are good news today. I was gathering it literally right before stream started. And I really hate the fact the chat's not working. I don't... Why? Are you updating or are you not updating? You're just kind of sitting there looking pretty. Like, what do I need to, like, close it and exit out again, probably, to refresh the page? Like, chatbot, please. For the love of all that's holy. Work. Work. I believe in you. Please sign in. Okay, fine. I will sign into the little chat buddy thingy. Have access to all my information, okay? Dox me already, daddy. Okay. Then why isn't the YouTube one working? Oh, but what about that? What about the WebSocket version? I don't know. I don't know. Why? Okay. Trium! Please! I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world here, but it is what it is. Now I thought about possibly not using the little chat bot and actually using the extension instead, but then we got rid of the extension, and I don't know where to find the extension now for the chat bot. Why am I like this? Why? Well, let me look this up now. Well, that's nice little tech stuff on the fly. So I know how to fix stuff. I know how to fix stuff here. A little less cancer in the stream for a change? What do you mean? It's not cancer. I like seeing chat. You guys are hilarious. Sometimes, I have to, whenever I send the VOD to the editor, I go through the timestamps to make it easier for him and things like that. And sometimes I see things I didn't actually see on stream, and I'm like, oh, like, that was a good comment, or that was funny, or wow, that guy was kind of an asshole. You know, like, various things like that. And I'm just like, oh, I like you guys, chat. I like you, chat. I know it's very homo, very gay, but I like you guys. Also, where is the goddamn fucking where is the thingy? Extension, browser extension. Yes, browser extension. That's what I want. Please give me browser extension, because I know that one works. Don't give me an app, give me an extension, which is also basically an app. Here. Thank you, Pika Hiri, for the $5 dose. Thank you. Hey, am I looking cute again today? Did you see the bloodbath in UK? The sitting commie government had lost 1,100 local seats so far. Yes. That's what I was trying to gather right before stream started. There. Try to get that information to talk about here. But let's see here. Let me try to actually get the chat fucking working. I think I did it. I think I can do it. This is not that's not the chat I want. This is the chat that I want. There we go. Okay. Now, work. Breathe for me. Do the thing that must be done. Let's see here. Okay. I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked. It didn't work. I'm sad. Well then. Morale's already lost. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm about to give up now here. I'm sorry that I can't actually show you guys on screen because I don't know why it's not working. And I don't know how to fix something live on the fly like this because I'm retarded. I'm sorry. Well then, I guess, you know, I will be talking into the void like normal here. Boomer mall or natural habitat, yes. Actually true. The Lord knows technology and I can't actually get along. Okay, there we go. Now, you know what? I'll do the Asmongold thing. I do what Asmongold does. This, the live feed here. You know what? I've given up on the chat. I've given up on you specifically, chat. Okay, it's over. And so therefore, we're moving on. There. Chat isn't working. Shake my head. Pull yourself up with the brute steps, chat. Oh yeah, you show yourself on screen if you want to be represented. Okay, we know DEI policies here for chat. You know, you have to be your own strong, independent chat and show yourself on screen. How? I don't fucking know. But you as a white man must suffer anyways. So you might as well try. Arch wants to read the book for himself, but he's too embarrassed to admit it, so he does it by proxy. Yeah, that's basically what has happened with this stuff, because he's just like, oh, it looks interesting. You know, I want to make fun of stuff. He was actually bored by the book. I found it actually not that bad, but anyway, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Anyways, welcome to Floundering Void Friday once again. You know, nothing fucking works. I am half awake. And I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like... I feel like it represents it quite fucking well, doesn't it? So, there were local elections, council elections over in the UK. And it's actually some good news. Some good news. Reform UK surges to 1,200 seats in local elections. Labour loses over 1,000. Labour gets absolutely fucking obliterated here. So, like I said, I literally woke up and saw this, and I woke up and started stream. So basically at the same time, so I'm learning on the fly with you guys. My apologies. My OCD is kind of like freaking out right now. Not gonna lie, I don't like not knowing what the topic actually is. Like, at least like a vague idea. I mean, I guess I do know what a vague idea of this is, but I just, yeah, anyway. So Reform UK claimed over 1,200 council seats with net gains of 1,205, taking control of 10 council seats like Sunderland, Barnsley, and Thurrock, where it won 45 of 49 seats after the May 7th elections. Labour under Prime Minister Keir Starmer lost more than 1,000 seats and control of 23 councils, with strongholds such as Wigan and Tameside. Farage called the results proof his party is a national force, while Starmer took responsibility for the tough night but vowed to keep delivering change amid economic immigration concerns here. There. I guess that's probably a good summary. Thank you, Grok. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see if we can vote ourselves out of this one, chat. I mean, that... I'm not exactly happy Reform won. But it's, you know, I'm glad to see Conservative and Labour being basically thrown out the window. And in Greens, because people were like worried that, people were speculating, including me, because based off what I was seeing too, that the Green Party would basically be the replacement for the Labour Party. But they didn't really do a good job from what I've heard. Let's see. Obviously, they did get a win, right? In this case, the first Green mayor win for this butch lesbian lady here. for Hackney. But where was the polling? Here we go. I had some. Was this it? Yeah, this is it. So this is oh no, this is for Great Yarmouth. Once again, I'm all over the place. God damn it, this is what I get. I'm just gonna keep on scrolling. I'm just gonna keep scrolling. There we go. I'm just gonna fucking keep strolling here because I don't know. I don't like having tabs. This makes me uncomfortable here. Uh, I do know that Restore Britain was mostly focused on Great Yarmouth first, or Great Yarmouth seats, and they won. So they were aiming for 10 seats, and they got 10 seats. Absolutely crushing victory here. So despite, you know, Reform UK sweeping, and how much I dislike Reform UK, this is a great start for a party that got started like 3 months ago. Like, officially started 3 months ago. I know Rupert Lowe made Restore Britain as like a think tank call out kind of group, you know, door to door thing like last year, but didn't officially get acknowledged as a party until like February this year, if I remember correctly. So only having a few months to be an established party and doing as well as they are and basically getting Great Yarmouth is insane for being a brand new party. Like, this is actually good news. Some people are blackpilling, being like, oh, you know, look how pathetic Restore is. I'm like, they just started. They just started here. Like, come on. Here. Some places only Reform is on the ballot. That's good. Like, I mean, I don't like Reform. You should definitely vote Restore Britain. 100%. 100%. And if Restore Britain doesn't win in 2026, then... Not 2026, 2029. Then, well, I think voting our way out of it. The voting will be definitely a question. How about that, right? Things will definitely be interesting seeing how bad the situation is in Britain. Not advocating, right? I'm just saying that based off how the tides are turning, right? And the winds are blowing, then it's well, I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how things go, right? There. But for now, this is good. And Reform is just the conservatives. Literally just the conservatives. They literally took the Conservative Party in. Like there's a ton of defectors last year that occurred, and they're also appealing to Indians, as well. Like they've been really pushing Indians recently and being like, yeah, we're gonna stop immigration, but we're also going to bring in 1 million fucking Indians. Wow, that seems like to be a common problem in the West now, doesn't it? Here. Yeah, I don't think this is a good good I don't think it's good publicity. I know there's no such thing as like bad publicity, right? But at the same time, having those dark-skinned, overweight foreigners with dots on their forehead and they're clearly foreign accents chatting in the street being like, I'm voting for Reform UK. Yeah, this is the brown party. Like, people joke that the Green Party is full of browns and communists, which I mean it is, but Reform is full with browns and liberals. Not much better, frankly. Do not redeem Reform, yes, reform the reforms are. Thank you, PokeWiz, for the $2 dose over on Mumble. Thank you. Hi Amal, what a week to miss 2 live streams. First, you praise objectively the correct of Blink 182 album, and then you commiserate us Star Fox fans. You're definitely going up in my estimation. Well, thank you for thinking so. I didn't realize the self-titled album was so beloved with Blink 182. There. Because I'm not like part of the fandom or anything like that, right? That's like the only album I really listened to. There's a couple others, right? Like which is the one with it's the black one with the stoplights, the 1, 2, 3. That one has some good songs off of it. Dude Ranch isn't too bad either, but like I'm never in the mood for like jokey like songs are not really my thing. I like my depression, and self-titled definitely gives you lots of depression there. So I like that. But I could definitely tangent and talk about music for a very long time. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about Reform UK because yes. Or else I would, but yeah, for ages. Thank you, Zealot Venture Capital, for the $10 bills. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Amal. I just finished engineering school last week. I used to listen to your streams while long nights of homework. You're a breath of fresh racism. Hashtag alien isolation. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, I can give you that breath of fresh racism then. Make sure that you actually do brush your teeth though. Um there. That way you don't get the dirt and the shit in your mouth from the browns. Let me find the alien isolation thingy here. Um but that congrats on finishing engineering school. Isn't that difficult? I mean, I just hear engineering and I think, damn, that's a beyond my that's beyond my mental capacity. There's no way in hell I could ever do that. So full respect to the guys who do that because it's men that literally lifts the world up, right? Men are the engineers. Men are the plumbers. Men are the trash disposal. Unless you're in Birmingham, UK. Um, you know. So kudos to you. I'm glad that I was able to entertain you in the meantime. Hmm. Ah. Yeah. Here in the Netherlands, we're also fighting back since September. I'm assuming 25th because it's you said 30th, 35th. Defend groups have formed that protest around the country to convince local councils not to put asylums near them. Hmm. I read your chat and I didn't actually read your chat. Let me reread that again. My apologies. Defend groups have formed that protest around the country. Wait, defend groups have formed that protest around the country to convince local councils not to put asylum centers near them. Oh, I see. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Interesting. Fun. Oh my god, that's another thing about the elections here in the UK. I'm sorry. This is what I get for trying to be smart so early in the day, right? I know 3 p.m. so early. Uh, but Nigel Farage came out a couple days ago with like advertising, be like, yeah, we'll take the asylum centers, right? We'll take that kind of stuff away from where you live if you vote for Reform UK, and then we'll put it in the Green Party centers. What? What, Nigel? No, people want to get rid of them completely, and also putting them where the Green Party's at. It's just vindictive. Like I get it. Green Party sucks. It's filled with browns and commies. Says the party of browns and liberals, right? But like you don't fix immigration by making it go um like elsewhere, right? You're storing the dirt underneath the rug. You're hiding the problem, and you're punishing your opponent. With which keep in mind, Greens are mostly like women. It's usually white women that vote for the Green Party. And listen, I know women are retarded. It takes one to know one, right? But we already have a huge epidemic with the rape gangs happening, in the UK as it is. And you're going to put them in a place that mostly votes with a bunch of vulnerable white women? What is wrong with you? Like, at the end of the day, women shouldn't vote regardless, but they're still victims, right? Even if she's a Labour voter or a Green Party voter, whatever the case is. Excuse me, sorry. This doesn't mean she should be raped by a brown foreigner. That's horrible. Absolutely heinous. And yet he's like, yeah, we're gonna put the asylum places there in the Green Party constituency. The fuck's wrong with you? Like, Anything but deporting, yeah. Well, if they actually deport, then they would have to get rid of India #1, sir. Do not redeem. You know, I'm voting for Reform UK. Vote Reform UK in the local elections. Oh, sir, please don't redeem. The North Sea has lots of space for them. True, that would be pretty good. There. I think it was meant to be similar to Martha's Vineyard stunt. I mean, probably. I mean, that's not like exactly a bad thing, but the Martha's Vineyard stunt was very quickly taken care of. Right, where they bust in all those illegals into the Martha's Vineyard, and then they're out like the next day. And it was a busting in of a few people, right? A few dozen people. I forget the amount, but it wasn't like a ton. Actually putting the asylum centers and these hotels and military bases within the Green Party constituencies, then that's that's a whole different thing. Instead of having just like a couple dozen, illegals, that's hundreds of them, just in these constituencies happening. That's a whole different story. And it just makes them look bad, and also makes them look like they're sweeping the dirt underneath the rug too. Like I kind of get that, but that's not the proper way. Now make them live with their consequences? No, they're women. Okay, I don't know to go like woman most affected here, but I don't want women being raped. As much as I talk about how, women have a rape fetish and everything, women do not have a rape fetish for brown men. And it's actually, and what they're doing is not just raping. A lot of the times, they're kidnapping them, forcing them to do depraved acts beyond just regular sex. Like, there's many stories of these girls having, like, glass bottles shoved up a vagina and asshole, multiple guys using them until they're bloody. They are getting beaten. So there was a case where one girl was forced to fuck a dog, and no, not the whole white girls fuck dogs type of thing. Like, literally they sicked a dog on her, and that kind of deal. Another girl, a lot of them die, and there was one girl that was turned into a kebab. Like, that's not even hyperbole. Like, she literally, to hide the evidence that they killed her, they literally turned into kebab meat and sold her so people would eat like that way. Like, yes, these are not just simple, oh, I was raped in the middle of the night by the big strong werewolf under the full moon, where we're talking about actual demons, right? People who don't have any emotion beyond just lust and conquest here. They don't deserve that. They didn't deserve this stuff. There. You got it. Amal says this is not the way. Yes, this is not the way here. There's the story of one chopped up and fed to her own parents. I do not remember hearing that one, and well, that's great. And the thing is, I believe it. After hearing the kebab story, I'll believe anything. I'll be completely honest. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. You could say the most fucked up, crazy, insane story, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because there's been so many other ones that are true. That story is the kebab story? Oh, okay. Didn't realize she was also fed to her parents, too. I know I'm just arguing with one person here, but I can't. Listen, I'm falling for the bait. I should just call it bait. I know you've been around for a while. You can't help that people don't want help, Mom. Like, I know, I get that mentality, but it doesn't mean you make them purposeful victims here, right? If they want to, like, if immigration comes to their doorstep, right, naturally from their own voting policies, yeah, that's a consequence of their actions. But actively going out of your way to punish them with the most horrible things you can imagine, that's too far. Plus, once again, women, okay? Women shouldn't vote. Women are dumb. They're emotionally contrived, right? They see the little brownoids as pets that they want to help. They don't realize their actions. Like, I know people here have different opinions on women when it comes to how to handle them, but women are literally children, okay? They don't mentally develop beyond like the age of 16. It's that there's a reason why they just got married off when the things were, when times were much better. Like, they're not supposed to have such consequences here. You don't get them raped by the Browns. Why do you want that to happen to your fellow white woman? Like, that makes you sound like a horrible person here. Like, I just... No, it doesn't work. That doesn't work that way. I joined the stream and the first thing you hear is women are dumb and shouldn't vote. Classic. I mean, true. They shouldn't. They shouldn't fucking vote. Like, unfortunately, and you know what? Okay, I know this is definitely coming from a position of privilege, like the left says here, since I'm the vagina holder myself. Lest I check, though. Depends on my mood, right? Depends on my mood. But, unfortunately, men are the creators, right? And I kind of said, like, well, maybe I shouldn't say unfortunately, right? But it's unfortunate that men have the responsibility to fix the world, right? They can make or break the world. It's always been men that create things, right? Well, like I said earlier, in the more positive light, they're the plumbers, the engineers, the trash bin collectors, the fixer-uppers, right? They're the ones going to war and dying and protecting the country. They're the ones doing all the hard labor. And, unfortunately, with the modern world, it's... Their sacrifices are basically in vain. But it's still men that are going to be fixing things because it's the men's natural biological function to fix things. Hence why, women don't belong in politics. This is why women shouldn't vote. And this is why, Rupert Lowe is the leader of Restore Britain and pushing for things. There's a reason why LrdAlucard created his own media company with the Lotus Eaters and now has a bunch of awesome lads by his side helping promote this stuff. And then, like, Steve Laws and Super Historian on Twitter, constantly pushing the narrative in the window. It's men that are doing this. Or Trump, for all his faults, still is a man, try once again, that has the charisma and the balls to at least used to try to fix things. Like, it's not the women. Women come in just to leech and mooch off the previous thing and then destroy it from the inside. If it feels like it benefits her. There's never actually been a successful good woman doing literally anything, right? Like, that requires leadership and power. Though I'm sure someone's gonna be like, actually, there was this one woman in, like, 1600 that did this, blah, 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 blah. Fine, right? But she's still exception to the rule. Doesn't matter. It's men, not the woman. Don't expect a woman to do anything except screech and have babies, because that's kind of the point of women, right? The reason why women are so emotional and so sensitive when it comes to the status quo is because it's safety. Like, they only care about is safety. They will go with whatever the culture tells them to go with because they're followers. And it's safe to go that route because that's what the culture is. They don't want change. And if the culture tells them that little brown pets are good and, to be the girl bosses and go to Jew daycare, then that's exactly what they're going to do. Like, that's just how it works. Unfortunately. Like... I personally, like, if I had my way, right, even though I'm a local vagina holder myself, in the modern world, I would snap my fingers and either one, preferably in my opinion, would go back to the more traditional mindset, or two, create the liberal utopia where women are not the way that they are, and could actually take responsibility and accountability, and not be massive hoes about it, and everything would be fine and dandy, right? But alas, that is not the case. So, we're stuck with biology that is not caught up with modern times because this has only been happening in the past 80 years and humans have existed for thousands of years. This is a blip. This is nothing. This is like, we're gonna look back in history and think, wow, this was a fucking mistake, like lobotomies. Like, and just kind of laugh it off. Like, why did they do that? Elizabeth Bathory bathed in the blood of other women. Oh, I remember hearing stories about... I remember kind of hearing something about that. I don't know what the case was with her. Okay, listen. Despite me having a vagina, right? I am not like other girls, okay? And, I don't like true crime, serial killer stuff. That has never interested me. Like, ever. I kind of thought maybe, like, in high school, like, I should get into it because, like, all the other people were into it, but not me. I just don't get, like, I don't get fascinated with the, with that kind of stuff. Like, not like blood makes me queasy or anything. I just don't get the appeal. Like, they just murder people. Cool. Like, they've been locked up. Okay. Like, I get the psychology aspect of things. Like, as someone who is an armchair psychologist and was big into psychology when I was younger, there's definitely that appeal. But I've always been more interested in, like, depression, motivators, why people do things as a whole, why individuals act, right? Where I will, somebody comes to me with a problem and I sit there and I listen and be like, so your childhood trauma, because with your father made you a massive hoe. I know it's really surface level, but that's kind of the point here. Like, I've always kind of preferred that than like random people I don't know at a time decades ago that killed things. I don't know. I don't know. The closest I probably ever got was like liking the show Criminal Minds because that was fun. And then the nerd guy was my favorite character. But that's because that's yeah. I forget his name, but he was great. There. And with a little bit of the psychology that he had, but like I don't know. I just never got into it. She's not like other girls. Yeah. Yo, I'm all a praxeologist? Praxeologist? I don't know what you're referencing there. I'm sorry. There have been successful women at times. There's been like 3 of them that I know that did something really, really good. So they're very, very rare. That's my point, right? That's my point. It's basically, like, it's not worth making the exception, in my personal opinion. Like I know it kind of makes me look bad by saying like, oh, it's all of them when you know that, but like when it's 0.01%, I don't care. I don't care. We're cherry picking from the entirety of human history, and you can get like 3 of them, like you said. I know that's just like what you know, but like that's like this doesn't matter. It's always meant just whatever. Read Mrs. Void. I'm sorry, I'm illiterate and I'm on a Fire Emblem kick right now. That's my reading, right? I am thoroughly enjoying my Fire Emblem. And I've been sad that I haven't been playing it much the past couple days, because I finally got the part 2 of the Chrism Flower for 3 houses. And it's like, this is what I've been waiting for, right? I like breeze through the first part of the game and I finally get the part 2, and then I'm getting busy again. And so therefore I can't play it. Like, god damn it, this is what I've been waiting for. How dare life, god, fuck my stupid chud life here. I just want to play my video games. Praxology, the study of human contact? Oh, I didn't know that. But that would definitely be my study if I did go into psychology. Because when I was younger, I did kind of dabble in it. Like, I did kind of think about if I'm going to go to college, maybe become a psychologist of some sort. But I was against it because I knew it was an oversaturated field by women. In fact, my friend in high school was going into that herself. And I was just like, it doesn't really pay that well because of the oversaturation too. And I just kind of enjoyed being the armchair psychologist. Like being an AP psych was probably one of my favorite classes. And And I swear I had my notebook somewhere, but when I was looking for it the other day, I couldn't find it. So, which makes me very, very sad because I actually liked keeping my notes for the classes that I found interesting. Hmm. The vast majority of women will only vote for the party that allows them to murder their own babies easiest. The few women that won't do that are small price to pay. No vote for women. I mean, in the modern age, yes. I don't think it's their default though, right? Like, I don't think women naturally want to just murder their kids. I think it's part of the whole going back to the status quo. In that case. So, and the status quo says, be the girl boss, you know, go from the pipeline from high school to college, the girl to the Jewish daycare. Don't worry about having kids. Kids are a detriment. They're gonna ruin your hot, sexy body that gets you laid by Chad, but not actually get to capture Chad. And then, you know, who cares? It's just a bundle of cells. That's what the status quo actually is. It's all around you, all fucking around you. When you're a woman. And I'm once again, I'll play the vagina card. I went to a Catholic school, right? I went to a Catholic school my entire life, and I still had that stuff around me. Like, the school itself was against abortion, obviously, and they spoke against it. But the culture online, the culture around me, even within the girls in the class, like there still was, because of how secularized the rest of culture is, no matter whatever the school taught, it didn't really matter. Because even though most of the girls weren't exactly like fans of abortion, they weren't completely against it either, and just paid lip service to what the church said, unless they were actually highly religious. A lot of them were whores. A lot of them partied and did drugs and typical teenager things within the modern age. And had constant drama, all these different problems. It's the religion did not save them, unfortunately. It's actually kind of ironic, me being the fedora tipping atheist. A lot of ways I was a better Christian than they were. I know that sounds really arrogant there. I know it sounds really pretentious, but like, I was like, in high school, I was like, I really don't want to go to college. I feel forced to go to college because my dad's invested so much into me. And, but like, I really don't want to. It's a scam. Like, I want to be a stay-at-home wife, you know, take care of my kids, like, you know, I was starting to, like, leaning towards homeschooling because I public school was abysmal, but I didn't want to pay for, like, the private, right? Various things like that. I didn't party. I didn't do drugs. Like, I had a boyfriend, and, you know, and for a decent amount of time, especially for being in high school, I was a good kid, right? A good student. And so then I would observe and listen in, because I didn't have much in the way of friends. All this little, like, the top girl drama, right? The high school drama that happened. I mean, like, what the fuck are you guys doing with your life? Like, what? Hello? Like, I know it's a Catholic school and everything like that, but why is there this dynamic here? More fetuses have perished in 50 years than men have in all wars combined. See, that's the tragedy. There, that's fucking sad. Though, my racism does kick in, and I can acknowledge that a good chunk of them are, not white, and therefore my sympathy does run dry at that point. There. And I'm just like, maybe it's a good thing, because think about it, right? I know this sounds bad. I know this sounds really bad. But think about how bad the crime statistics are, where 13% do like 60% of the crime. And think about how, like, every single day there's a new story of a black man murdering a white woman, like, every single fucking day in America. And then also Britain. And then also, like, the Europe in general. So there's multiple cases every day from across the Western world where this happens. To think about how many more Tyrones and Jamals, I know Jamal, and Shaniquas that would exist it's like, maybe it's actually a good thing here. Maybe it's actually kind of a good thing in this case here. uh, Changing consumer habits, yeah. Like, God, this is one of the random topics I had for the other day. But the McDonald's is getting rid of their self-service. Let me see where I have it at here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted here. They're getting rid of their self-service stuff. And their excuse is that changing consumer habits. The change reflects decline in dine-in traffic as drive-thru and digital orders now account for about 40% of domestic sales in the United States. And, okay, sorry the tabs at the load here. But yes. McDonald's will eliminate self-service stations nationwide by 2032, citing changing consumer habits. Yeah, I think this is the changing consumer habits right here. Just, you know, something about, you know, the water cup. It's copyrighted music, so I can't play it, the actual audio, but I think, God. I'm not gonna say anything. But you can see. You can see the lack of the frontal lobe. And yeah, anyways, but just taking the water cup and getting that. Like, that's such a low trust society situation here. And I say low trust society, but you only get low trust society with, well, a lack of frontal lobe individuals, which happens to be the vast majority of the you know, the changing consumer habits here. Thank you, Philip, for the 500 warp tokens. Thank you. You killed me, girl. I'm glad, you know, with love, you know, to have your little NWA pass here. But it's just like, come on. Come on here. We all know what those changing consumer habits are. We can even look here. Even beyond just the typical, you know, using the water cup to fill it with regular pop instead. You know, there's this drive-through. Oh my god, okay, sorry. The edit for this is hilarious. I'm gonna be playing this because Michelle Obama had this little podcast that she's doing because, you know, podcasts are all the rage. I don't know who the fuck watch it because who cares about Michelle Obama? But she's just like, yeah, black woman, you know, we don't share our feelings because no one listens to us. No one understands the pain of black women.
We don't articulate as black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that. We
no one articulated our pain because no one gave us permission to do that. There's 4 black bitches right there fighting over something in McDonald's drive-thru. All of them are fat as fuck, but yes, they can't articulate their pain. They don't give us the permission to. How many Shaniquas, and Dolores's, and I don't know enough black names off the top of my head, okay? Do we have to, like, see and fighting in a McDonald's? Coexistence is impossible? Yeah, it really is. It's always this case. Always this fucking case with them. And so yeah, I really think this is the changing consumer habits. I'm just saying here. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. LaQuisha, true. Oh, they can't articulate their arteriosis? Actually, good point. Because, like, they really can't articulate. They can only scream, right? And yell. They can't actually talk. Beyond, I guess, Big Mike right there. They get into these emotional outbursts. So yeah, that is not articulating. They don't have permission to, because their frontal lobe is not developed enough. Blame the frontal lobe, apparently. Um, let's see. I thank you, Rasmus, for being a Diddy Blood for 2 months in a row over on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a VTuber, not expecting big brain. True. True. I have very big P brain. Big P brain. Big P brain. Big P brain. uh. hmm. It says the Oblivion NPC with $20,000 worth of golding on her. Did somebody actually do one of those posts where like this is how much what she wears costs and like that? I've never understood that mentality. I mean, okay, I guess kind of going back to the psychology of man, right? The praxology that people mentioned. I let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once and I'm too retarded to do that. But I understand the psychology behind it. I do. Right? It's status is a wealth sign status, right? It's flashing and being like, look how well I am, you know, and therefore you should respect me and kiss my feet because I'm wealthier than you. Look how I've made it in life. It's a really low IQ mentality to have because doesn't matter like how many gold chains you have and fancy cars. It doesn't mean you're actually a good person. It doesn't mean you have done anything substantial. In her case, she definitely has not done anything substantial with her life whatsoever. And it's actually quite gaudy, really, with all the gold chains, in my personal opinion. But I have no, because I find it gaudy. I don't see the appeal. I don't see the point of flaunting my wealth. Like, why? You just look like an asshole. Like, nobody likes an arrogant asshole who thinks he's better than everyone and richer and can throw money at solving problems and various things. Like, nobody likes that person. Other than gold diggers. And the gold diggers only want him for the money, not for anything else. So, once again, you're not actually, like, getting anything substantial in life. You're not developing happy, good relationships with your family and friends, or with like wife and kids. You're just being a pompous bastard there. Like it just I hate it. I don't like it. I know it kind of makes it like, oh, you know, I'm so much greater. It's a good confidence booster, but you can do that in the safety of your home, your multi-million-dollar mansion, right? You don't have to, but you can still go out in t-shirt and jeans and be a normal person. I hate the mentality. Black prom photo ops come to mind. Yes, they have to be. They have that. It's why they like shoes so much, right? These really expensive shoes. Instead of actually investing for like a house or an actual good car, other than the Charger, like they put it towards these material goods. It's a low IQ, bare minimum status flaunting instead of things that are actually worthwhile in life, and I hate it. I hate it. I wear khakis and collared shirts to separate myself from the poor, is not gonna lie. I mean, khakis and collared shirts doesn't make you rich or poor. I mean, it just make you look nicer overall, better than a t-shirt and jeans. So, I mean, it's dressing well. Like, there's a difference between dressing well and flaunting your wealth. Like at Enwa. Wearing khakis and collared shirts is dressing nicely. Which I know, you know, poor people do it, but obviously it is far and few between. There. But it's difference between wearing these gold chains that are like, actually, it's funny that she's talking about black problems, right? Black woman problems when she's wearing such heavy gold chains around her neck, kind of like the chains that are around her ancestors' necks. But this is the good kind. This is the good kind here because it shows her status. You know, it shows how wealthy she is. I married a rich man and you didn't. uh, there. Everyone can hate the rich, but do you have enough courage to hate the poor? Yeah, I do hate the poor. I hate the homeless. I know it's bad, right? Right, you know, oh, the poor homeless, you know, the veterans, you know, there's some people out there that have really had bad lives or something along those lines. And yes, I get it. I feel bad for the veterans, though I need to look into it a little bit more, but seeing how many cases of people on disability that like go into the military and get full disability over not actually being disabled and doing very menial jobs in the military, I do kind of wonder what is the actual messaging with the whole veterans being homeless actually going on there. Are we talking like Vietnam War vets? Like I feel like this is kind of left over from the Vietnam War days. This talking point. I was like, I need to look into it a little bit more, but it just seems it's not really adding up. I've seen enough Caleb Hammer clips at this point. Just doesn't really be adding up here. And then like obviously there's some people that really, you know, really fucked up their life. But then again, they fucked up their life. Like I know we're at a time where family relationships are an all-time low. Same with like nobody has any friends. We're all very isolated, right? We were a microcosm in the grand scheme of things to the infinitum at this point in time. More than we have ever have been before. Just being a tiny little cell in the machine in these big cities. But to screw up your life so bad that your parents won't take you in, or if your parents are dead, you have no friends that will let you couch surf for like a couple weeks, or somebody out there, not to mention the amount of homeless resources that do actually exist, because even in red states there's still homeless shelters, which I know they're filled with druggies, so it's not exactly a pleasant experience, but there's plenty of resources. There's plenty of resources overall around there. So to actually be on the street, I have very little faith that you actually tried your best. You're probably just a drug addict, and I have no sympathy for drug addicts and whatsoever. Okay, you chose to do the drug. You injected the heroin, right? You snorted the cocaine. You smoked the weed, or you took the Vicodin. Well, whatever your drug of choice is that got you here, you yourself took it knowing full well that this was addictive substance, so that it actually could completely fuck up your life, and there's a reason why there's a taboo and problems around it. I have no sympathy for those kind of people. Same with alcoholism. Though I know that might be hitting a little bit too close to home for some people, because alcoholism is a bigger problem than drug addicts, especially in this kind of sphere. But then again, you know, I got a little bit of trauma when it comes to the alcoholism with my mom, right? So I have a particular vendetta against it in this case. But like, you swung the bottle, like, you don't have to drink. There are other ways to enjoy yourself, and you know it's addictive substance, especially if it runs in the family. Just don't drink, and drink in moderation. And if you start feeling yourself being addicted, then you should stop, which I know is easier said than done, because unfortunately I do have addictive traits within my family too. So I know it's a lot more difficult in that case. So guess what? You avoid it. Like, if you know there's alcoholism in your family, which is most alcoholics, because it's, once again, more addictive personalities, especially for weakness to alcohol, you avoid it. Like that's, I mean, maybe I'm biased because that's what I do, because once again, I know it's a problem in my family. My mom had a problem, my grandpa had a problem. I'm sure my great-grandpa also had a problem too. But I don't know how far back it goes. So just don't do it. Like, you were the one choosing to do this fuck. You're the one ruining your life. Stop it. Don't do that. Like, I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. I know drug addicts who work and have a roof. Well, good for them. I'm mostly going on like I know it kind of changed it off the homeless rant, but it kind of ties back to the homeless thing where they ruin their life and that's why they're on the streets. And like the amount of stories I hear about these drug addicts or alcoholics who can't actually keep a job, constantly owing people money, getting into some really shady shit, fucking over their parents and friends. It's like, yeah, you deserve to be homeless. You deserve to be fucking homeless there. Fuck off. I don't care. Oh my god, what is your name? Thank you, ZDFHFKFK. I'm gonna need a different name for you. I'm gonna... Zidif? Zidifikif. I'm gonna call you Zidifif. I'm gonna... something along those lines. So some sort of variation of it. Congratulations, that's your new name. I have donned you, Zidifikif. Anyway, regardless, thank you for the 500 rope tokens, Zidifikif. Amal's speaking the truth of woman that should be submissive, even though she's lazy at being submissive to a man because Amal's a dumb woman. True! I am a dumb woman, that is true. And thank you, Thomas HSS over on YouTube for the $5 videos. Thank you. Hello, woman saying words. Have money. Well, thank you for the money for me saying words. It's not that... I mean, woman yap incessantly as it is, so it's not that crazy, but thank you regardless. I'm not gonna complain. And then thank you, 670 Genesis for the $2 videos over on Ko-Fi. Thank you. I know who you are. If we got a wealthy benefactor and a few surgeons, we could go back to, we could go around the black neighborhoods and give urban youths like $2,000 on a bag of weed in exchange for them getting vasectomies, and in 50 years there would be no black people in the United States. Well, vasectomies can be reversed in a lot of cases, and they don't always go completion, so it would be not a foolproof method, but it would be the alternative to just straight up genocide. So, a peaceful alternative. I'm not actually against that. Though, the fact that I have to deal with them for the rest of my life, because I'd be dead in 50 years, kind of sucks. I like to live in a time where they don't exist. Back in Liberia. Once again, they can go to Liberia. I'm not saying anything else, right? Just send them back to Africa. Okay. But hey, at least my children and my grandchildren won't have to deal with them. So yeah, let's do that. Well, Elon Musk. I was told that I need to see this Elon Musk, so maybe I can so maybe I can convince him to do so. It's like monkeys with typewriters won't yap enough to eventually say something based or of value. It's like a clock's broken. Sorry, a broken clock's right. A broken clock is right twice a day. There we go. I guess so. But then again, women can't be base. It's against their nature. It's impossible for a woman to be base. A clock's broken twice right a day. Hell yeah. It's the same thing. Same meaning there. Since they say they built America, surely they can build Liberia. Oh, 100%. I mean, it has even the same constitution in the United States. There's no excuse with their 46 IQ, right? That's not gonna stop them. Oh yeah, I realized I was gonna be talking about the UK elections and I got so off topic that I didn't actually do that. Anyway, restore branded good, reform swept, fuck the unit party, go watch the Sargon and Lotus Eaters at this point if you actually want better coverage for because I failed massively. Point proven. True. We went straight off the rails yet, Joe. I kind of feel bad because, like, I do like British politics a lot. And I do like to cover it. But I think I've kind of failed at doing so today. So welcome to Floundering Void Friday. Can't even cover politics correctly. Surprise, surprise. A woman can't handle politics. No, who guessed it? Women are as base as the man she respects, yes. Which that's supposed to be her husband. Or if you're a tomboy that is weirdly into politics at a super young age, Sargon of Akkad. So that's why the MAGA cock works. Let me blow my nose real quick. Give me a second. Sorry. So this one time there was Sargon Dockies. I bet Mel bought one. I did not because I was in high school. And I'll be honest, I thought it was funny, but at the time, it's like, man, I'm a 16-year-old girl. I don't know if I should actually be buying a Docky of a man that's like 3 times my age. Also, I don't have much money because I'm a high school girl and I work at a gas station. So I couldn't exactly afford to buy it, but I thought it would be kind of weird. Like, if I got one, like, I wouldn't be able to look my dad in the eyes if I got a Sargon Docky. So I didn't get it. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of regret it. Because it is such a rare item, right? Like, he's never gonna do that again. He has evolved as a person, right? He has matured. He's gone beyond his edgelord trolling days of his youth. And he's now refined with multiple kids and a wife and a media company. He's never gonna do a Docky again. You know how funny that is? You know how fucking funny it is? Like, someone who doesn't actually like anime and, you know, and it's still him being fat, right? It's not like him being, like, sexy or anything. Just that type of deal. Like, that's such a shocking shit post. And I love it. Like, I do kind of miss old Sargon. I really do kind of miss old Sargon. In a lot of ways, like, I still like him a lot. I'm glad he's successful as he is. I'm glad he's got a happy, nice family. But there was just something very beautiful with how he was just such a troll, such a troll, and it's gone now. I wouldn't even rape you. I wouldn't even rape you. Dad, it's not a phase. I love Sargon. You don't get it. Oh, it's 10 years later. It really isn't a phase. Because I used to when I was younger, when I was doing my homework, I would actually connect my phone to my Bluetooth speaker, and I would listen to Sargon while I was working on like my math homework. I couldn't listen to him while I was doing like anything literature related, right? Because I can't read and listen to this at the same time. It's the same part of the brain, right? But when I was doing my math homework, I would always have him on while I was doing it, because I hated doing my math homework, and I often would fall asleep doing so. But having him on the background helped a lot. And there was definitely times where my dad probably heard me listen to Sargon because of that. And you know, he never said anything. And I don't know what his opinions are on Sargon. He probably wasn't even paying that much attention there. Oh no, Bluetooth speaker. I'm also Puerto Rican confirmed. No, my dad really loves smart devices. Like, he hopped on the Alexa train almost immediately. And the house is filled with Alexa devices, unfortunately, and I hate it with a passion. We have a smart house. The lights are smart switches I can control with my phone. I could tell, like, Alexa, turn off family room lights, and she'll turn them on or off. Like, the whole entire house is this way. I hate it with a passion. However, having the speaker there was kind of convenient, because after a while, having headphones does hurt my ears. Because I don't like wearing, I like wearing earbuds over the actual headphones. Which is kind of ironic since I have actual headphones on right now. But normally I prefer earbuds because I don't like how headphones look. And they're just, you know, after a while they get uncomfortable. Especially, you know, when you're like laying down for a while and things like that. There. And so it's just much more convenient to put the Bluetooth speaker on, like the Alexa device. And then have them quiet in the background. There. So nice of the government spying on you. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. But it's my dad's house. So it's whatever. Oh, Deep Sea downloads a catalog on you now. Oh, 100%. I mean, the only good thing, the only benefit possibly is that I don't really talk outside of stream. And there's no Alexa device in this room right now, right? The Alexa's not in the room with me right now. She's in the other room, and the walls are thin enough that she might be able to hear me. But there's none right at the moment. So, however, since I did use Alexa for lots of Sargon vids back in the day, it might be too late anyways. Bay's too strong a soldier and piss princess. I mean, listen, I do buy stuff off Amazon. Obviously, it's Amazon. But I don't support the smart devices. And Alexa records your audio and sends it, plus transcript for people to go improve the system. No smart devices for me. Oh, I agree. Once again, not my house. My dad's house. I have not made it far in life, okay? Whatsoever. Like, it's... actually, it's one of the things that makes me depressed. Not gonna lie. Because, I think I think about it more than I probably should, honestly. But like I like to reminisce about my like the days I used to listen to Sargon, right? My political adventure, times in high school, all these like different things. And then like I get off a stream, I go to my room that I've had since I was a baby. And I sleep in the bed that I've had during my high school years. And the Alexa device is still there, though she's unplugged. Because, once again, I hate her. And I just think to myself, wow, nothing's changed. I play Genshin and I'm playing Fire Emblem Three Houses recently, right? And I'm like, wow, I did this in high school. Nothing's changed. I'm still in the same position that I was in like 10 years ago. Nothing's changed. And so I kind of like try to make myself feel a little bit better, being like, well, you know, back in the day, you know, back when we lived in a more peasant society, no one left our little village either, right? They stayed in the same house with their family, and then when the parents died, they took over the house and the farm, and then they raised their kids, and nothing really, like, no changes, right? Right, like in that case, it's actually normal. It's how it's supposed to be. You know, women shouldn't be sent to colleges anyway. You know, going to the slut factories, various things like that. Oh, but it's still just kind of sitting there thinking, like, man, I'm in my early 20s. It's been many years. And I'm still back with my dad here. Yeah. It sounds so comfy. I mean, it is, right? Like, I should probably, I should probably state, right? I'm very lucky to be in the position that I am, to be able to live with my dad. He does have a nice house, right? You know, it's much cheaper than living off on my own in an apartment or anything like that, right? I'm not exactly, like, complaining about the life in that sense. But it's still not where I wanted to be. And I did, you know, I did try to become a housewife, right? I did have a relationship for a long period of time. And during the little break before I came back to my dad, you know, I did try to marry and, you know, have kids, the whole shebang, that situation, right? You know, I at least attempt to. And then I wasted 5 years of my life, and now I'm back in with my dad. And it's just like one of those. It's just that situation. It's just that kind of like weighs on my mind here. And like I'm once again very lucky to be where I'm in the position that I'm in. I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to take it for granted, but it's not what I was hoping for either. You know. So. I'm all tried, but the guy escaped his basement cage. Yeah, well, sort of, kind of, yes. You need sex. No one could handle your void powers, I guess. I'm too much. I'm too much of a void here. Hmm. Yeah, you're so young though. Ah, but here's the thing. Women have a clock. You know, women got that biological clock. The rabbit sitting there, you know, with the stopwatch pointing at it, right? Yeah, and it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. You know? Hmm. So, but anyways, I promised a femboy that I would watch a video about this Bishop Richard Williamson on Real History. I don't know anything about this guy, that he looks like Jordan Peterson. Like he literally looks just like Jordan Peterson. Unironically here. So I've heard he's really good. The femboy got a lot of people within the Discord server to beg for this video as well. Hold on. Give me 1 second. My dog's at the door. Sorry. Well then, my dog is currently outside, but I guess I'll just keep on yapping for a few minutes while he's doing so here. So Williamson's pretty interesting. Oh, good. I heard that he's actually like really good. Beyond just what the femboy demands. But I have this thing where, you know, I don't like femboys. So whenever a femboy asks me to do something, I have a vendetta. Be like, should I not do this out of spite? Should I not do this out of spite? Want me to send you a picture of him when he was younger? I mean, sure. I mean, I'm assuming he was probably handsome, so I'm not gonna complain about looking at handsome men. I will goon over your Bishop Williamson, Sleepy. I will ruin him for you. This is no Jordan Peterson. I mean, I bet. I'm guessing based off of what people are saying, but he sure as hell looks like it in this little thumbnail here. I remember when Peterson was good. Me too, buddy. I have both his books. I did read 12 Rules for Life. I did not read the second book yet. I'm not sure if I will. I heard it's not as good as the first one. I remember when I was reading 12 Rules for Life, I know the lobster scene keeps get brought up as a meme, but it's unironically one of the funniest things I've ever read in my entire life. With the lobsters. I was sitting there fucking dying the entire time. But it worked great. It worked great here. Oh, let me go check on my dog real quick. Give me a second. Good little puppy, yes you are. Now, do you want to stay in here? Because normally you don't like it when I stream, because I get a little bit loud. What the dog's being cute. He wanted to go outside. Do you... Speaking of which, do you want to stay in here? He wants to be with me, but he hates how loud I get during stream. Because like I said, when I'm not on stream, I'm actually really quiet. I mean, I talk to him, but it's in that cutesy baby voice because he's adorable. Not, smoking 2 cigarette packs a day and screaming about the juice. You wanna go? There we go. Oh yeah, Discord is down, by the way. I forgot to mention something. I saw that people were talking about that in chat earlier. Okay, now let's get into the video in itself here. How is Doggo keeping? Doggo is good. Doggo is good. He every once in a blue moon he still has an episode, but like they are so far and few between. I think the last one that happened was like a month ago, and the one before that was probably a few months before it. So he's definitely a lot better than he was around this time last year. Because around this time last year, well, no, was it around this time? Yeah, it was around this time. It was like between it was like between March and June of last year. It was a quite a long time. Um, he had a health scare, and that was not fun whatsoever. And I thought he was gonna die. But thankfully he got better, and he's still like I can tell he's still not like how 100% how he used to be. But I'll probably say he's like 95%. I would say. So it's still a little bit sad, but obviously much better than him being gone. A total. But, you know, that's what you expect. He's like 15 years old, 16 years old. I need to do math again in my head, but I'm too lazy to do that. Never mind, I'm not too lazy. Yeah, he's 15 years old. Anyways. Yeah. Dog nice, dog cute. My dog is adorable. I love my puppy. Okay, so this is Bonus Conference Real History by H.E. Bishop, Richard Williamson, St. Thomas Aquinas Seminary, Winona, Minnesota. Minnesota! I wonder if they had any Somalians at this point. Hmm.
Here is history. And Catholics need to know history. It's interesting that in today's schools, the children are taught less and less history. The one world government and the new world order do not want people to know history. They want people.
I know the New World Order is the older term for like the World Economic Forum. Well, not the World Economic Forum specifically, but it was kind of like the old term for globalists. And it's kind of it's actually pretty interesting to see a priest talk about this, or in this case a bishop already. But like, hold on. 26 seconds in is already pretty base.
People to be dumb, stupid, sheep that can be led where they like, with no pride in their country, no love of their country. And Americans' love of America is patriotism. That's good, as long as they don't love the Freemasonic principles. But it's difficult to disentangle the two. That's where the problem is. History. We go back to the Middle Ages, and we're talking there about let's say the 13th century, the 1200 to the 1300. The Middle Ages gave birth to the Inquisition. In the later Middle Ages, you have the Inquisition. Let's call that the 14th century. Then came the Reformation, so-called. The Protestant Reformation, that is about we'll put it in inverted commas. It was, of course, as Catholics have said, the Deformation, not the Reformation. But then the Protestants control the vocabulary, unfortunately. There aren't enough Catholics with enough guts to take the words back, so we have to use Protestant words. So let's call that the 16th century. Europe's religious wars follow on the Deformation.
Maybe because I've been a fedora tip and atheist since I was like 12 years old. And I know I went to a Catholic school, and modern Catholic school, right? But kind of see a bishop, a Catholic bishop sitting here being like, "Oh, the Protestants, we gotta take the words back from the Protestants," and it's, you know, that type of deal. I'm like, huh? I know the religions are different, but like my Catholic school was all about like peace and love, you know, getting along with the other Christian sects, and not like, we all worship the same God just differently. You know, we do it the right way because this is what Jesus taught, but they do it kind of like this way, but they still worship Jesus, and so they're cool. You know, it's actually kind of a little bit out of left field to see a Catholic bishop being like, "Yeah, the Protestants, they suck," huh? What? Okay, I didn't realize that we're getting a little religious war here.
religious wars, principally in the 17th century. In England and in Germany especially. France, that's actually back at the end of the 16th century, but plus or minus the 17th century. Europe's religious wars, 1648, a very important event, the Peace of Westphalia. That was the end of the most terrible of those wars, the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1638. We need to go over all of this history. You'll see why in a moment. Peace of Westphalia, what's called again the 18th century was the age of the quote-unquote Enlightenment. Again, the enemy controls the language. The Enlightenment, and which produced a revolution at the end of that century. The American Revolution, which was a trial run by the Freemasons for the French Revolution a few years later. People say that because there were no guillotines on this side of the Atlantic, therefore there's no connection between the two revolutions. Absolute nonsense. The French Freemasons came over here, Lafayette, to help the American Freemasons, Washington, Franklin, Madison, and so on, to make their revolution here. And then the American Freemasons, revolutionists, Franklin, Jefferson, went over to France to help the French make their revolution. They were kissing sisters. You visit Mount Vernon today, you'll find a key of the Bastille in a place of honor in the home of George Washington. He was.
I remember being taught in history class that the French Revolution was inspired by the American Revolution. So I kind of thought them being related was common knowledge. I didn't realize it was that in depth. Like, I knew Lafayette coming over to America, and I knew we had good relations with him and the Frenchies, because the French did help us in the Civil War, well, in the Revolutionary War against the British. And so we did offer them lots of support, but then, then the French Revolution kind of went out of hand, and then we kind of stopped doing so. So I didn't realize, I knew it was, closely related. I didn't realize they were Freemasons, though. Okay, so here's my thing, chat. This is where the dumb Floyd needs educated here. Okay, I know the Freemasons are related to the Jews, but I don't understand how. If that makes, because I kind of, briefly looked into them, but, I didn't do, I did, a quick Google search, because usually you can do, okay, kind of like the Wikipedia, early life Jewish situation, you can usually kind of get some sort of connection with a brief search, and it's just oh, it's just based off Masonry. It was and trades, and okay, I'm pretty sure there's more there. I'm pretty sure there's a bit more there, but I don't really understand it. I'll be completely honest, chat. I'm sorry. How did you not know that? What, the revolutions were connected? I just said I did know that. I did know about Lafayette coming over to France and us helping them and before the French Revolution spiraled out of control. That's exactly what I just said. I just didn't really realize they were Freemasons. I think the Jews infiltrated the organization and subverted it. Because, how they started out actually sounds pretty good, because it's just based off the trade guilds. But I don't get it. They were, just a guild that entrenched themselves, I thought. No, but the Freemasons is... I'm sorry. I know they're bad, right? I know they're related to the Happy Merchants, but I don't know how exactly... And what kind of ways, and also how many, I guess my biggest question is how entrenched are they actually? Because I hear George Washington's a Freemason. What? What do you mean he's George Washington's a Freemason? I don't know. It seems like they're never really talked about, and nobody kind of knows what they do. There's a club of guys, but that's no, I don't get, sorry. I'm not really articulating this really well, because part of it's my confusion from the little bit that I do know. But Masons are like a D tier secret society. Golden Dawn has more occultic influence. But are they actually like powerful though? Because when I think of occults, I think of like ritual sacrifice and various other things, which I know they do, right? I know about Bohemian Grove. But at the same time, those are very far and few between. You need to check out the story of the Templars? I heard of the Templars before, but I don't really know much about them. If you guys could put some links and stream suggestions and read that, be greatly appreciated. Not that I'm probably gonna read them, to be honest. Also, Discord's down, so I'm not gonna be able to pull it up on stream, sadly. But still, Freemasons arguably weren't always bad. Issue I have with the monarchists is that the British monarchy have been shit for a long time. Freemasons and monarchists are related? What? They are deep state? Yeah, the Templars were nice. That's what I thought. Or, wait, Masons dropped off as an Anglo-Celtic thing, like Scottish Rite or whatever. They got diluted and caused immigration, I think. Now the Mason arc is genuinely confusing. I'm getting so much information from chat, and I don't know what's which. Which one's related to the Masons? Which one's related to the Templars? How are they connected? Where's the monarchy coming in? And then also sort of the Jews somehow. I don't know. Yes. The Freemasons originate from the Hellfire Club, a group of former Rosicrucian. What the fuck's a Rosicrucian? Rosicrucian. What? I've never heard of that term before. No, Freemasons and monarchists are fundamental enemies? I didn't think they had anything to do with monarchy, actually. But somebody mentioned them together. Not to oust. I'm not gonna oust you. Let me reread your chat. If I can find it again. Somebody mentioned that they were related, and I was like, what do you mean they're related? I don't know. Let's see, we got a paragraph. Somebody wrote me a paragraph. Thank you. I like paragraphs. The Freemasons are supposedly linked to the craftsmen who built the Temple of Solomon that became aware of the rites of pre-Jewish Abrahamic temple worship due to them having hands-on experience during the temple's construction. Allegedly, they chose to maintain the original rites in secret as they became corrupted by the others. How that links to the modern organization is a complete mess of conflicting stories. Yeah, that sounds like ancient history. That sounds like a religion within itself. Like to be that old and exist and have somehow connection with modern time. That sounds literally like a religion. Chat is schizoid mall. Literally, I'm like, what is happening? Rosicrucians was an Austrian Templar order from Portugal. What? Somebody just give me a Wikipedia article. I posted and said they're tied together. They didn't. I'm sorry. Maybe I misread it. I'm sorry. Like, woman thinking, just go for label to group things. People in not groups. The group changes over time. Well, I get the group changes over time, but like, usually there is a thread that connects them, where you can actually see the evolution over time. And apparently with the Freemasons, it's all over the place. It's not a thread, it's multiple threads tangled up into a ball. And the Saudi royals are all tiny hat Rosicrucians? What? My brain hurts. My brain hurts. I'm learning things but also not learning anything at the same time because I don't understand any of it. Okay, we're gonna continue on with the video because, yeah.
Presented with the key of the Bastille by the French Revolution is because he was, and it's on the wall in his home. Come on. Of course the two are connected. The two are much closer than they are far apart. But that's a key argument of many Americans is that the two revolutions are completely different. They aren't. The ideas are essentially the same. So that's late 18th century.
I thought the ideas were actually this. Like, I thought once again, I thought this was common knowledge that their ideas were the same. As the French were a lot more violent with it. Well, I mean, we went to war, so not like we were violent with it as well. But like, you know, chopping off the heads of your own people is a little bit much.
We come then into the 19th century, which rolls through to the 20th century. That's today. Play a funeral march. It's at the bottom this century. It's the absolute pits. Now, this is the point. Let's see this whole. These are the series of events. This is a sequence running from the Middle Ages through to today. So we've got 700 years in so many words. Now let's see this as, firstly, as Catholics see this sequence. Well, let's take a look at first how liberals see it. Liberals are bad guys, so they're going to be in red for stop. The pits of hell, that's flames. I'm not a great artist, but it just stinks of sulfur. It's rotten. Now, first of the Middle Ages, of course, the liberals hate the Middle Ages. They despise the Middle Ages. They despise the religion. They call it superstitious darkness. That's really what they think. They call it the Dark Ages. Superstitious darkness. And they despise the religion and they despise the politics. The Middle Ages were full of kings. All kings were no good. If you want, every king is a tyrant. Every one-man ruler is automatically a tyrant. So it's superstitious darkness and political tyranny. And that's just terrible. And
It's interesting to see him bashing liberalism, especially so early, because this is 1997. Like, I know 2026, a lot of the ideas that we have are not new, but they were nowhere near as mainstream, ever as mainstream. So to see a guy in 1997 bash liberalism like this is quite interesting, because it's like, I know the Dark Ages are called the Middle Ages, but like, everyone calls them the Dark Ages. I know they actually weren't dark, right? I knew it wasn't like a period of waste and decay. Like, the Roman Empire fell and all went to ruin, right? Like, it's kind of implied and sort of kind of taught. Like, I knew it actually wasn't that bad of a time period overall. Like, it wasn't as good as like the Roman Empire in its peak, but it wasn't like it wasn't awful either. But a lot of people still refer to it as the Dark Ages, and because it is called Dark Ages, they do get this, and the wording implies it was a time of, well, darkness, where nothing was good. Everything was horrible. You know, it was a period in time where everything went to shit. Oh my god, like that graph that the left constantly post. Or at least they used to post back in the day when, you know, we were a skeptic, you know, skeptic community kind of stuff. Where like it shows how the advancement of technology was, and then like the Roman Empire fell. We get to the Dark Ages, and it goes. I'll use my mouse here. It goes like this, and then it just drops. And then there's the Dark Ages, and then from like the Enlightenment, and you know, from there it's where we're slowly building up. But and it's supposed to be imagining if like the Dark Ages didn't happen, how far technology would progress without them, and it's like that's not actually true. Like, there. Dark as in pre-enlightenment, yeah, but that's not how it's actually taught in school these days. It seems as a bad thing. Like I said, he's part of the SSPX. I never heard of the SSPX before. But I saw your chat earlier about them. That's the group of who left from the Vatican too. And I would like to know more, because I remember learning about the Vatican II in school and about how the reforms to help bring it up to a more modern age. And it was always like labeled as a good thing. And even back then, even though I was still an atheist and still wasn't a fan of Christianity, I still thought like it seemed a bit strange that they would change so much to the fundamentals. Like I was happy that they did to kind of bring it back up. I thought it was necessary, but it also felt really fake at the same time. That shows that that the religion is just a following culture there, and very weak. And I wasn't exactly happy with the Pope back then. So Society of Saint Pius X. Oh, hold on. Okay, let me put this in my phone. That way I can actually look it up later. If I do it on the computer, it's not gonna happen. Society SS. I'll just type in SSPX. Yeah. I'll definitely have to look into this because I don't know. I've pointed to the Vatican II for all the problems within the Catholic Church, based off my own Catholic school knowledge, my own political biases, and the very little bits that I know. Well, I'm not actually that informed about the issue. It just seems to be what I've been able to gather so far. Society of Saint Paul X. They say someone said Paul and some said Pius. Those are the two different bishops there. Thank you, Voicing Hentai, for being a member for 4 months in a row on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning. Hope everyone is having a good day. Well, I'm having a pretty good day so far. I've been having fun yapping with chat. I hope everyone else in chat's also having a good time too, as we're talking about religion, our favorite subject here. I hope you're having a good day too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Thank you, River North, for the 500 rope tokens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll take a look at the video. Do Freemasons really worship Lucifer? By the channel Lore Lodge. It's long but goes through the entire history. Okay. Let me pull this one up too. That way I have it. Not sure if I'll watch it anytime soon, because I'll probably get lost in my tabs. But do the Freemasons really worship Lucifer? I almost called them Lucy. Hour and 14 minutes. Okay, that's not actually that bad. We're obviously not going to watch it live on stream right now. But this will be interesting. So we've got Guy the Catholic Cross going on here. We got some books in the background. I like the cabin aesthetic here. We've investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. Wait, is this actually serious? I'm curious if this is actually like a serious thing or is it a joke based off the comments. But I guess I'll find out for myself later. We already are 5 minutes and 30 seconds into this here. Groom your girlfriend. I call him Lucy from my time for my supernatural fandom because Lucifer was one of my favorite characters. Gabriel, Lucifer, and Crowley. I love them. And I'm very upset with how they all three of them ended. But we don't talk about that.
Ever since then, things have been on the up and up. The world has got better and better, like, was it Dale, what's his name? We get better and brighter and braver every day. Dale, somebody? Dale, we get better and brighter every day just by thinking that we're better and brighter every day. Somebody, who's that? Self-improvement. Carnegie. Dale Carnegie, maybe, Dale, junk, stupid junk. Inquisition. Oh, for a liberal. Oh, that's the worst possible thing. It's the most wicked possible suppression of liberty. Liberty wickedly suppressed. Oh, the Inquisition. Oh, you'd want the Inquisition back, don't you? Oh, they start trembling and shaking when you mention the word Inquisition. Liberty wickedly suppressed. And nobody thinks twice. Inquisition is a word like fascist, you know, or colonialist, you know, or
1997. He's already like, oh, they call me fascist. How dare they? Oh, who cares? And okay, this guy's fascinating. And you know, listen, he might look a little bit like Jordan Peterson, but I'm already very attracted to him. I know he's a bishop and probably dead at this point. But I like this guy a lot.
Franco, you know, people just sort of go into a delirium. Liberals go into a shaking delirium when they hear these trigger words. All right, the Inquisition, the Reformation. Now we begin. Now you see, the Reformation is the end of the beginning. At last we got a breakthrough. This is all, the Middle Ages is just the beginning but it took a long time to begin, and it was all darkness and stupidity. But at last came Luther, and things began to look up. So the end of the beginning and the great breakthrough. The great breakthrough. That's how liberals see it. Liberty of conscience. Liberty began with Luther. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Virtually began with Luther. Europe's religious wars. You see, if you believe in all of this stupid religion, all you get is religious wars. We're going to get away from religious wars. We're superior to religious wars. So what were the religious wars in Europe? They were superstition's last fling. I mean, Bosnia. Can you imagine people fighting over religion? And what a stupid thing to fight over. Why can't you just everybody be at peace, and everybody nice, and everybody happy, and everybody loving? Yeah, love, love, love.
I know I'm the, the fedora type and atheist, right? But I know I'm culturally Christian, I'm a leech. I kind of still have that mentality. Okay, you can crucify me, chat, I know. But it's just like, and maybe it's like a woman thing too, because women don't like war and fighting. Well, they like fighting with other women and passive aggressiveness, but they don't like actual bloodshed, right? They don't want actual violence. And I'm just like, yeah, fighting for a religion is fighting wars over religion is kind of stupid. I feel like there's other reasons too, like resources and women. Like that makes a little bit more sense, not religion. The only thing that actually makes sense is when you're defending yourself, right? Like the Crusades were justified because the Muslims attacked first. They were conquering, they were raping and pillaging and forcing people to convert via the sword. Like, okay, the Crusades were justified in that case. That is a good religious war. But that's it. That's it, I guess. The Aztecs sacrificed religion. Sacrificed people because of religion. Religion's not inherently peaceful. Oh, I know. I'm not sure if you're talking about me or the bishop in this case. I'm just talking like, in my opinion, war over religion is definitely one of the stupider ones to have a war for. My personal opinion. Unless you're fighting Islam, yeah. Unless you're fighting Islam. Like, but it's not. But like, I guess I could. But like, I guess in a way it's kind of his point, because that's the liberal worldview. They do distill it down to, oh, it's just stupid religion. And that's what they make the Crusades out to be. It's just, oh, stupid religion, these useless wars that kill people. Versus there was a lot more depth to the Crusades than just that. So it's usually more than just religion, but it gets boiled down to that way in a more secular worldview. Because religion is a good chunk of it at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah? Fighting over religion. Who on earth believes in God? Come on now, we got over that years ago. Superstition's last fling. Because what happened in these religious wars is that the Catholics were trying to wipe out, they were trying to block the breakout of Protestantism. They were trying to stop heresy. They were doing it with swords and guns. It came to a fight. Of course it did. When half of Europe adopted a new religion, it comes to a fight. Every war, I think, it wasn't Chesterton, somebody said, every war is basically a religious war. It's true. Even the American Civil War was basically a religious war in the 1860s. It was a war between the radical Protestants in the north and the moderate Protestants in the south, but it was still a religious war. And that's why it was such a bloody war. It would never have been as bloody as it was. It's the bloodiest war that Americans have ever fought. Over 500,000 casualties, over 500,000 killed. It's the bloodiest war. Casualty-wise, no war has had so many killed as the Civil War. And the reason is that it was basically a religious war. Men fight over religion. Of course they do. They don't really fight over anything else.
I don't know how I feel about him calling the Civil War a religious war. Like, yes, I'm sure religion was definitely a large part of it, because religion was really important back then. And so they believe they're doing the best for God. And there's always going to be religion as part of war, because it's a good motivator, because you're justifying your actions. And the leaders will always say that, you know, God has blessed us, you know, God gives us strength, you know, God has, you know, determined that we will win, you know, various things to help like boost morale. But there'll always be aspects of religion within war. But I don't see the Civil War as a religious war there. Now, like, it, like you could maybe make the argument that ideologies are religion. You know, it's something that people cling to with utmost zeal and profess it religiously in itself, and firmly believe this is the right way, and other people are wrong and will defend it to the end. And you could definitely make that kind of argument, and you can apply it to the Civil War in that case, with the North versus the South. But I, but that's not exactly what he's saying here. He's talking about actual religion. I woke up now. The subject is right to my autism. You're welcome. You must suffer here. Oh, there. Maybe war of own faith. Yeah, I don't think so. Civil War was a brother against brother. Most of it wasn't different religion. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe because he's coming from he's a bishop himself. So obviously he's gonna be biased when it comes to religion, because it's, you know, he's literally a bishop. I don't know. Let him cook. Okay, I guess I can let him explain a little bit, but I don't see his argument within the religious aspect of things, like actual legit religion, not just beyond ideologies.
They don't fight like that over anything else. But so the idea that we no longer today fight religious wars is just stupid. It's every war is basically religious. All right, superstitious last thing is what they see, and we've grown out of that. Then the Peace of Westphalia. Now I want to say a few words about that first. The Peace of Westphalia was the conclusion of the worst and most terrible of those religious wars, which was the 30 Years' War. And the Peace of Westphalia was a sort of compromise. After 30 years of a slugfest, the Catholics and the Protestants said, look, we're not going to get anywhere, so we'd better agree to differ. We don't like one another's ideas, but we'd better just say we're not going to succeed. Neither of us is going to win this, so we'd better split the spoils and say, and stop fighting. So the Peace of Westphalia said that wherever the prince of a region is Protestant, that area will be Protestant, there'll be no more fighting. Wherever the prince of a region, or the duke, or the count, or the king is Catholic, that part of the world is going to be Catholic, no more fighting. So that was the Peace of Westphalia. It was a standstill of the fighting between the Catholics and the Protestants. And the Catholics and the Protestants agreed to stop fighting. Okay, now, how do the liberals see that? The liberals, that is religious liberty, liberty to practice what religion you like, established in fact. It's not yet established in principle, but the simple fact that the Protestants and the Catholics agree to stop fighting means that if you want to be a Protestant, all you've got to do is move from one of the Catholic provinces or countries to one of the Protestant. And if you're a Catholic and you're caught in a Protestant part of the world, you simply move to a Catholic part of the world. You can, by moving house, by moving to where you've got your own kind of prince, you can have what religion you like. So there's liberty in fact of religion. It's not in principle. The Protestants say everybody's got to be Protestant. The Catholics say everybody's got to be Catholic. So none of them admit liberty in principle, but the liberty is there in fact. And so this is, for the liberals, quite a step forward. Then the Enlightenment is the
Yeah, once again, as the fedora type an atheist, I don't really see a problem with that. But I also know that I am, I am a product of the modernity, right? It is 2026. As much as I don't like liberalism, I don't really have a problem with people having their own religion. Like in that case, like I don't like Muslims, right? I don't like Islam, but I also don't like them because they're invading our countries. If they just stayed in the Middle East and just blew themselves up there, then I wouldn't care. It's like whatever. It's their country. It's their little sandbox. They can keep on playing it and throwing shit and bombs at the Jews. Go have fun. Like I don't really care what you do. Like maybe I got a little bit too um live and let live here, but I that's still kind of my stance. Oh. As a Lutheran, what I have to say is that Luther and the other reformers were much more critical of the Anabaptists than the church, because the Anabaptists were actually rebellious and schismatic. Luther wanted to preserve the authority of the church, attributing rebellion and liberalism to Luther is inaccurate in my opinion. Well, I know he's awfully heavily critical about the happy merchants, which makes me like him a little bit. And there is definitely reasonable criticism of the Catholic Church to have for him. So I'm not exactly like against Lutheranism and Protestantism, like myself. But this guy is a Catholic bishop, so obviously he's going to be biased against the Protestants because he's Catholic, and he's definitely a little bit more fire and brimstone kind of type, seeing that he's actually daring to talk shit about them, which is not something we normally see in modern Catholicism, at least today. Can I post one of his quotes that I really like? I mean, sure, you have to do it in chat, though, because Discord's down. I came in late, so from the last few minutes I've heard, we all need to find a way to talk with other religions. No. No. No, don't talk away with other religions. Just... I just, if they're invading our country, we should fight them. Like we should do with Islam. If they're not invading our country, then just ignore them. Who cares? Whatever. I feel sorry for you trying to navigate the theocratic nonsense behind the Reformation. Once again, I'm coming from the Catholic perspective here. So it's definitely biased in that case. And also I'm a Gnostic, right? Like I'm not against the idea of a higher power. I'm just can't exactly be sold on one specific god, or really any gods in general, like typical religion. So I'm culturally I'm Christian 100%, and I do recognize that religion is important. And once again, I had the Sargonian position on this too, and it really is. It's not even like Sargon taught me this situation. It really is what I've like a very genuine come to. I guess that kind of makes me sound like all my positions are just like rifted off Sargon, but like this is one of these things that I feel a lot more in tune with. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work either. Right? Oh no. Well, let me rephrase that. Sargon taught me a lot of things throughout the years. And I've adopted a lot of beliefs from Sargon because of that. And I can recognize it that I only have these beliefs because I listened to him. Right? Versus this is something that I've definitely come to 100% by myself. If that makes sense? There we go. I think that's a better explanation there. In this case, where I've recognized that religion's actually really important for society. I've recognized Christianity is actually really important for the West, and that Christianity is a Western religion, it is a white religion, and I recognize it should be preserved. And that, if anything, I'll probably have there's like a 50-50 chance at the moment that I'll probably teach my kids it. But it's not going to be Catholicism, because I think it's been completely subverted by the Pope, or Vatican II, and this more directly. And it's not going to be the Protestant ones, because I see them as even worse versions of it. So it's probably going to be Orthodoxy, which requires me getting Orthodoxy in itself, so it's not going to be anytime soon, right? But it's like, I recognize that it's necessary. I am definitely culturally Christian. I just have a hard time believing in one specific god, or gods in general. Like, and like specific gods, I should say. People arguably need religion as organizing principle. Ideology is a substitute for religion and can work out in theory, I think, but has a track record doing more harm than good so far. Yeah, that's basically it, right? People need something to gather around to build a community. People need like-minded individuals to work around. You can't have constant division. You can't be a microcosm in the grand scheme of things. You can't not be a little cell in the machine, right? Like you need something, you need something grander and bigger than you. And religion is ideology. Ideology is religion. They're both they're basically the same thing. It's just one's more secular than the other. One requires God, and one is as government. It's basically the same thing. And ideology has become the substitute for religion in the modern world. 100%. You literally can see that with leftism there. But I think religion is a little bit more beneficial because giving yourself to a higher power is a desire that all humans have. Even with myself and me not having a hard time believing in a specific god or gods, I still desire a higher power, right? I'm still very in tune with nature. When I read The Righteous Mind, there was a part of it when he talked about how I forget all the different details, but there were three parts that people kind of like turn to for a higher power, and one of them is nature, and that's 100% me. I love going on night walks, and I love, especially when it's under a full moon. I just gaze at the stars and the moon and with nature, or if I go hiking and looking at waterfalls and just being in like the power, the sense of belonging, the desire to just turn into mist and disappear and become one with the wind is overwhelming within me there. But it's so there's definitely that desire within human nature for having a something higher than them to follow. And ideology doesn't give it to that because there's human. It's government. It's humans. You look at them and you see that they see their flaws. God is infallible, no matter which one you believe in, or gods you believe in. If you believe in the more uh, uh the pantheon kinds, there. So it is extremely important. It's just in my case, it's actually believing there is one specific one. Hmm. Uh. So that explains the wolf part of the amalgamation. And what about the dragon? Do you fuck cars? No. No. Like, what? You sound like a pagan, definitely just like me. I wouldn't. I don't want to say pagan. Like, I'm not believing in like the forest spirits or the rain god or or magic. Even though I fucking wish magic exists. Oh my god, oh god, yes, I wish magic exists. I would love if all the medieval fantasies are true, with fairies and goblins and unicorns and dragons. I would love that to be the case, but that does not the. It's not, unfortunately. She's a good heathen. There, but anyway, enough about my parent paganism here. Let's get back to Catholicism.
Advance from fact to principle, because the trouble is, if you get too used to living in peace with your Protestant neighbors, you finish up by saying, hey, they play as good a game as golf as I do. They cut their front lawn just as well as I do, as we Catholics do. They clean their streets even a little better than we do. They go on the anti-abortion parades just like we do. They, keep their children's noses clean even a bit better than we do. So really, what's wrong with these fellas? They're just like us. We're just like them. We're all one great slushy happy party. That's the slide from the fact to... And the problem, and the popes complained about the Peace of Westphalia. They said, watch out, watch out. If you let this, all right, maybe a standstill of the weapons was necessary, but make sure that it doesn't slide into an acceptance of what the Protestants are and what they stand for. Because if you let it slide from the fact of their existing to acknowledging the right of them to exist, it's a very easy slide to make. And that's what happened through the 18th century. The 18th century advanced from the fact of Protestantism to the principle of Protestantism. And therefore, the revolution arrived, which was simply the establishing fact of principle, the principle of religious liberty. The principle of, let's say, the principle of liberty. The dawn and the principle of liberty. Liberty, equality, fraternity. It was the great slogan of the French Revolution. It was also the great slogan of the American Revolution. Liberty. What do we mean by liberty? Ah, that's a deadly word, a deadly, deadly word. We'll have a look at it. We'll see what the popes think of it. In particular, Pope Pius IX. The principle of liberty. So here we got the end of the beginning, and here we've got you might say that this was the dawn of liberty. Here then is the high noon with revolution. And of course, tyranny overthrown. Here in the United States, every statue of George III is...
Sorry, I'm trying to listen to him, right? I'm trying to listen to a man smarter than me. But I look over at chat and I'm just like the duality of man. One side on YouTube, liberty breeds chaos. The other side on Kick, right underneath him. Liberty is a deadly word? Question mark, question mark? Oh, just once again, the duality man. Liberty breeds chaos. Liberty is a deadly word? Just a difference there. Just a difference there. Ooh.
Is exultantly pulled down, and over in France, the King Louis XVI has his head guillotined. He's guillotined. That was a terrible moment. Tyranny overthrown. We got rid of kings. In England, it's more subtly and more hypocritically done. The kings are still there, but the kings are powerless, so you know they're just sort of figureheads. But it's the effect is the same. Tyranny overthrown. We've got the continuing advance. The 19th century is the continuing advance of human rights. Oh, wonderful.
Ew.
We go in France from one revolution to another. The continuing advance of human rights. We've got more and more human rights. Now, of course, we've got the right to abortion. Any moment now, we've got the right to euthanasia. Any moment now, my dear friends, we're going to have the right to murder. I mean, you're in my way. You're a pesky nuisance. And I have a right to blow you away.
Technically, we've actually reached that point, and you could make the argument maybe in 1997 there was that case too, because when did O.J. Simpson trial happen? I know it was like late 90s. It was before I was born, but blacks have a getaway free card. Like the amount of times they're let go for insanity, and they're just put back on the streets and they murder somebody else again. Like they have the right to murder. They didn't do nothing. They're too low IQ, or they're schizophrenic. Or you know, socioeconomic factors, whatever the excuse the judge uses, sometimes all three, and they're just put back on the street. They're not put in jail. They're not put into a hospital, mental ward, or anything like that. They're just let go. Nothing happens, and they murder again. So, in a way, there already is a right to murder. It's just only for a specific race at this time. OJ was 95. OJ was 93. Okay, 2 different years, but close enough together. All lit a piss way before I was born. Way before I was born. Oh. There. Correction, the rich have the right to murder. That too. Seeing that they, human sacrifice happens in Bohemian Grove, and, they have some weird little practices together, but, yeah. Yeah. If I post the code again, I'll actually read it? I mean, possibly. I'm trying to watch the video sleepy, but chat's actually pretty quick today. Which I'm not complaining. Well, so I like seeing chat talk about this kind of stuff and getting your opinions on this. But unfortunately, I can't read all of it when I'm also trying to watch the video at the same time. You have a new and different faith. A happy, clappy faith where everybody is nice, everybody is sweet, and nobody has original sin. That only sin that still exists is a Nazi sin. That's a new religion, and Hitler is the devil. The 6 million are the Redeemer, which means that the Negevs are people are God. And that's the religion today. Bishop Richard Williamson. Holy shit, that is a pretty good fucking quote. Because that's basically what I've come, the conclusion I've come down to. Thanks to a 4chan post, mind you. And maybe the 4chan post was actually inspired by him, possibly. That, our founding myth is World War II at this point. And it has become the new religion there. I was in middle school when, I was in a middle school that had a lot of blacks when it happened. They were celebrating. Of course they were. Like, there's some people, especially Europeans, and no offense, because I know one of you Euro bros is in chat, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, and that have this belief that the 90s were a great peaceful time, where there'd be like a multiracial lens. We're able to have the liberal paradise. It's our chat's belief too. And it's one of my big disagreements I have with him because it's not the case. It might have been the case in like Europe when your countries were still majority white by a long shot because it's Europe, but America, where we have unfortunately had blacks thanks to slavery, it never was the case. It was only just smoke and mirrors, and it's because we had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Will Smith and other black comedians from that time period that acted white and acted, funny and nice. Doesn't mean the actual race relations in America were the same way. It was a complete smoke and mirrors, and we didn't actually have the technology to record the riots that would constantly occur, or the thefts. Or we didn't have body cams. We didn't have people posting on social media about these stories, and if you did, then you consider racist, and that was still a heavy word to label somebody. Like, it was just a lie. Hmm. Hmm. It was the best if it had been, but it was not good. I guess that's fair enough. I guess that's fair enough to a certain extent. They were not. Spain was dealing with a few terror groups. Well, I guess I should say Northern Europe, right? Northern Europe, because Arch is Swedish, so there's that bias there. And Sweden and Norway are very white countries. Well, used to be very white countries during this time period. Same with Britain. Germany, France. Basically Northern Europe didn't have the problems of diversity that America had, but they did have our importing of our culture and our media, and so it does, at least on the outside, to the Europeans, look like everything was fine. I'm certain people in their 20s and 50s enjoyed the 90s a decent amount. Well, of course they did. And it was still when demographics were better in America, when we only had to deal with blacks. So once again, it's part of the illusion where hindsight is 2020. Our demographics were not completely obliterated. We had not felt the full effects of the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. And there wasn't technology that we could actually see into the corners of the worst parts of America. And the worst parts of America hadn't spread into the rest of it. And so it still was a happy time, but it wasn't this like multi-ethnic liberal paradise that it tried to be. It was the end of it, actually. Well, I guess the early 2000s technically the end of it, but it was the last bastion of what they had, and the cracks were already there. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making much sense. It's possible. I am a woman.
Because you're in the way of my liberty. You are obstructing my liberty. Therefore, that gives me the right to blow you away. We're getting very close. The continuing advance of human rights and the 20th century then is just glorious progress. Wonderful, glorious, marvelous progress. That's our 20th century, seen in the liberal perspective. So as far as the liberals are concerned, we go from superstitious darkness in the Middle Ages to glorious progress. The world is on the up and up and up and up and up. And Wall's just like Wall Street in the last 2-3 years. It just goes up and up and up and up and up. It's got nothing to support it. You might reasonably think it's going to come crashing down at some point, but somehow they keep it up there. the foreigners are still buying American bonds, so the great big American party is still going on, and people are under this great fantasy and illusion that you know, thanks to Clinton, no scandals are now going to touch Clinton because he's just, you know, the economic welfare is so good, the economic situation is so good, everybody's making such money that, you know, the party will go on forever. There's no such thing as the party coming to an end. That's what people think today. Liberalism is wonderful. We Americans are showing the world how we're just getting better and better and more wonderful. Now, what is the Catholic angle on all of this? The Catholic view, which is in green for go. The Catholic view of this history. See, the very same events, we're going to see how the very same events can be read in two completely opposite ways. What was the Middle Ages? The Middle Ages was Christ enthroned. Christ was king, at least in principle. I mean, you may say that people were sinners in the Middle Ages. Of course they were. They're sinners at any time. But it's one thing to be a sinner and to admit you're a sinner. And it's quite another thing to be a sinner and to deny that you're a sinner. If you're a...
I'm sorry. I know it's obviously low quality, but he really just looks like Jordan Peterson. Like a spitting image of him. And unfortunately, Discord is broken still, so I can't see what he looked like when he was younger. But, like, he really just looks like Jordan Peterson. A more base Catholic version of Peterson. But he's still really just, like, if you show me this photo with no context, you know, maybe, like, cut this part out possibly, or just his face, I'd be like, oh, that's Jordan Peterson. He doesn't have the voice? Well, obviously he doesn't have the voice, but we're just going looks alone. Looks alone, this low quality image. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, that's Jordan Peterson.
Sinner. And it's quite another thing to be a sinner and to deny that you're a sinner. If you are a sinner but you admit that you're a sinner, then you're admitting the truth. You recognize the truth. And you recognize that you're not in line with the truth. But if you're proud, you refuse to recognize the truth that condemns you. And then you are in principle no longer recognizing the truth. So in the Middle Ages, people may have been sinners, but at least they recognized that it was Catholic, the whole world was Catholic, virtually. If you want to know whether there were sinners in the Middle Ages, read Dante. Read the Divine Comedy of Dante. He's crawling with sinners. And the whole of Inferno is full of them. But, I mean, men have always been sinners. But at least the head was clear. The head wasn't fouled up with heresy and nonsense. At least not nearly so much as it is today. What was the Inquisition? The Inquisition was intelligent men realizing that so long as the religion is united and so long as the religion is recognized, you're not going to have big wars. The medieval wars were never big wars. Nothing like the slaughter, the barbaric slaughter of modern wars. Nothing like trenches in the First World War, or the 66 million killed in the Second World War, the bombing of Tokyo. The Middle Ages wouldn't have tolerated that by the American Air Force, or the bombing of Hamburg and Dresden by the British Air Force. The Middle Ages wouldn't have dreamt of doing any such thing. No, they'd never have dreamt of it. In those days, war was forbidden on Sunday and on the feast days. And Lent, I think, there was no fighting. There was only, war was controlled, you know.
Okay, so there is an argument with the whole war not being allowed on Sundays, and I didn't know war wasn't even allowed during Lent there. But I'm pretty sure they couldn't even imagine that because they didn't have the technology to. Like, I not once again, not to sound like the door tipping atheist that I am, but if they had the power, they probably would use it. But they just didn't have it because they were, you know, just so stuck with swords and muskets. That's why. So that's why they couldn't dream of such casualties and bloodiness, because they just didn't have the power. But they accepted cannons. And cannons used, you know, gunpowder and still caused devastation for when it did hit accurately. Like, they still use the advanced technology that caused more and more bloodshed. It just wasn't at that point just yet.
A few young men dressed them up in handsome uniforms. They stuck a few heathers in their fat. They got thoroughly admired by the girls. Then off they went and sort of poked one another with a lance. Perhaps somebody got a leg broken or maybe died. Then they came home and said, "We won." And everybody applauded. I mean, it was fun. War was fun. It was not wild and crazy like it is today. And then your people today have the nerve to turn around and call the Middle Ages the Dark Ages and to say that we are glorious progress, better and better and better. People.
Him saying war is fun reminds me of that quote from Robert E. Lee. That I forget how it goes. It's a quote. Let me look it up real quick. It's well that war is so terrible, or we should grow too fond of it. When he said war is fun, that kind of reminded me of it, because obviously guys are meant for war. That's why voting is a proxy for war. That's why they like their strategy and wartime video games. Men are meant for war.
They're sick, they're stupid, they're crazy today. Absolutely. So, then, but the real trouble was when the religion split with the Reformation. Heresy is the trouble. It's heresy that produces wars, because heresy splits people on religion, and all real wars are about religion. If everybody's united in religion, you're not going to have any serious wars. Look at South America, Latin America. They're all Catholic countries. For 400 years, there haven't been any real serious wars in Latin America. Every now and again, a few of them.
This guy never heard about the Genghis Khan, the Ottoman or Roman empires? I think he's making an argument from the Catholic position. Western Catholic religion under the monarchies during the time of the Middle Ages into the Inquisition. He's not talking about war in general. He's not talking about you know, other places. He's talking about specifically Western Catholic ideology and how it's works within it. So I will defend him on this point. But I also don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's wrong at the same time with how horrible the people were during war in the time period, even within the Catholic Church and Western Europe. But I'm not exactly, knowledgeable about that time period myself, but it just doesn't seem like it's adding up.
Put on some uniforms and they put on a few medals and they went off and fired a few muskets at one another, and then they came home and boasted in front of the girls. It wasn't anything serious. Nothing like the religious wars, because Latin America was united in religion. They had a few fights about a few acres of frontier or whatever it was, little things, but nothing like the wars we got in Europe, because therefore the Middle Ages, in self-defense of the happiness and wisdom and peace of that way of life, said, look guys, the first thing we've got to stop if we want to keep this is stop heresy. Stop heresy.
Okay, hold on. I know there's been a debate in chat so far, and usually I don't mind if you guys are debating. And I actually kind of like it, because sometimes when I do read it, if I'm not like lost, it is interesting to learn. But if you are having a debate in chat, be polite, be respectful, no caps lock, because that's the equivalent of yelling. I get things can be a bit heated. But calm down. If not, the mods will have to bonk you. Okay, even if one of them is the femboy I'm capitulating to this at this time. Here. So, have your debates. I know religion is a point of contention here, but just keep it calm, keep it steady. It's not that, well, I was gonna say it's not that deep. Religion's actually pretty deep. But yes, this is a dumb VTubers chat. And I mean, I'm not like exactly paying attention to the debate exactly, because I'm watching the video. But if it's, I'm just gonna say maybe give it like 5 more minutes, and then the mods will probably have to time you guys out, because it has been going on for a while. So just wrap it up, boys. Wrap it up. So sorry, I'm gonna have a woman moment, and like when two guys are fighting, right, and the woman starts screaming and like, no, stop it! Tries to pull them away, gets smacked in the face. But that's what's happening right now. Anyways.
heresy is the Inquisition. And that's exactly what the Inquisition was, to stop heresy. And the Inquisition is a very wise Catholic institution. People today cannot understand that, because people today cannot understand the importance of heresy, because people today cannot understand the importance of ideas, because people today cannot take thinking seriously. It's all just slush and emotion, and the hills are alive, and let's all get together and hold hands, and we'll all be happy.
Thank you, Maya.
That's the way people think today. Ideas, what are those? Nobody takes ideas seriously any longer. That's modern man. Well, in the Middle Ages, they took ideas seriously, and they went to heaven. A good number of them went to heaven. A decent proportion went to heaven. Today, nobody takes ideas seriously, and practically everybody goes to hell. How can, if you can't take ideas seriously, how can you take our Lord Jesus Christ seriously? Oh, because he's so nice. Who is he? Oh, he's a man. He's the once wonderful teacher that there ever was. Is he God? Ah. With the Son of God simply means that you should get slushy about him. That's the way people think today. You agree? Son of God is just a way of saying how very, 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 very nice he was.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think it's definitely gotten worse over the past couple decades since this actually has come out. Actually, almost 3 decades. 1997. It's almost been 30 years since this video was recorded. Holy shit. That makes me feel old and young at the same time. This is before I was born, but at the same time, like, I don't know. As an older Zoomer, I still know about the time before I was born, at least little bits and pieces to a certain degree, right? Still has some of the technology like the VHS tapes, and DVDs, Blu-ray, various stuff like that. But anyways, I'm digressing here. His point about ideas being taken seriously. I mean, I would probably I'm not exactly sure what my take on that actually is. I'm gonna be thinking out loud there, so my apologies for anything that retarded comes out that's more than usual. But I'm a bit more laissez-faire myself, so that I think that's part of the problem. Like live and let live. As long as you're not bothering me, I'm not gonna bother you. That's basically my position. That really is the heart of my position. Like even when it comes like and the best case that I bring it up with is like my friends, right? Like I can have friends that I disagree with on various things. Fuck, I could probably be friends with a leftist as long as they're not actively calling for my murder, and as long as they're nice to me, I'm nice to you. Like even if it is a leftist and we're not friends, I'm still like cordial with them as long as they're cordial with me. Like I might just strongly disagree with them. Even if I know that they want me dead, I'm not gonna wish death upon them. But if they're nice to me, I'm nice to them. I'm very, very laissez-faire with that situation. So when it comes to, ideas, right? Opinions, it's hard for me to be to a certain degree. There's a bit of hard. It's hard for me to kind of be like, deeply care about Catholic versus Protestantism, right? like I can't care. Like there's still religion, right? Still worshiping the same God technically, very different ways, especially depending on the sect of Protestantism. And I can definitely think that some are worse than others. But it is like it is what it is. But at the same time, I do understand, I do recognize that this live and let live, laissez-faire mentality is what got us into this position today, because it is this tolerance, right? Because it is, at the end of the day, it's tolerating. But you can't tolerate everything. You have to have a limit for your tolerance. Because if you tolerate everything, you tolerate nothing. Because then something else, in this case Islam, will come in and press down and force their culture. And you're forced to accept it because you tolerated it. But they don't tolerate you. They want you dead. They want you ruined. They might act nice and peaceful at first. But then they'll stab you in the back. Actually, for Islam's case, they'll stab you in the front. So you can't be tolerant to people who are intolerant against you. There is a limit to that, and to that mentality. And religion is an idea. It is an ideology once again. That's caused people to make actions. So it's obviously there is unfortunately a slippery slope with taking ideas seriously, because then you get the thought police coming in, and this is where the biggest part of my hesitancy is, because I don't want the thought police coming in knocking on my fucking door, for thinking that, oh no, we lost World War II, for example, because that is an idea, right? That is an opinion, and I frankly believe it's true, but the ramifications of that idea and the policies promotes, it goes against the grain. Right, goes against the acceptable norms of modern day culture. It goes against the mainstream ideology of liberalism, and so that is a threat to liberalism, and so therefore they want to smack it out, right? And so by taking that idea super seriously, you run the risk of that. Hence why they did have the wars that they did have in the Middle Ages with the Inquisition. That situation. Even they weren't exactly bloody, even though they weren't exactly, well, I guess they were pretty bloody, but they weren't as bad as, more modern day wars are. And in a lot of cases they are brother wars and stupid wars looking back in time, in my personal opinion. Like they still fought because they took the ideas too seriously. And he does have a point that allowing liberalism to flourish with this laissez-faire approach has caused massive damage to society. So there needs to be some sort of balance, some sort of in-between there. The paradox of tolerance, 100%. 100% there. The thought police, but they're on my side. See, that's the ideal, right? That's the ideal. Is that's the appeal of authoritarianism, is somebody who does exactly what I want and it's on my side, but they don't go against me. Fortunately, reality doesn't actually add up to that, but not like democracy's working out either. In fact, it seems to be significantly worse, because it's not just one person, it's multiple people, and they're not even working on my side. They're not even working on my enemy's side. They're working on a third position where they only care about themselves and enriching themselves. And in a lot of ways, it's arguably worse. It makes it difficult. Where? It's terrible to accept everything? Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, you shouldn't accept everything. There needs to be a limitation to tolerance. Like, it's one thing to have tolerance among individuals and yourself to make peace. It's another thing for groups and ideas and countries. Because now you're going on beyond an individual. Now you're going into groups. And groupthink thinks is completely different than the individual does. You can sort of kind of reason with an individual. You cannot reason with a group for how everything works. And that's why I do make the differentiating, right? I'm racist, I'm sexist, transphobic, homophobic, whatever it is to know we want to label to me. My position is that whites, specifically white men, are the best, and America is a white nation, and it should still continue to be that way. Same with the rest of the Western world. And the rest of them can just go back to the countries they came from. Not calling for genocide, I just wanted that to be the case. I'm tired of the gays and the trannies. I gave them my chance, right? I gave them my tolerance, and they completely chewed on it, spit it out, and then gave it AIDS in the process. Tired of women ruining everything. I'm tired of the statistics when it comes to the darker populations. I just want my utopia, essentially, that we used to have, like a homogenous nation. That's basically my position. But I can understand that individuals are different because they are individuals, and if an individual's nice to me, even if they are a woman or gay or black, or all of the above, if they're nice to me and they're not, calling for my death, and how they might even have the same ideas to me because they do exist out there, far and few between, then I'll be nice to them. I'll still want the black back to Liberia. I'll still want the woman's rights taken away from her. I still want the tranny to go to the mental institution, but I'm not going to be, like, outright mean to them about it. Because it's an individual, it's still being polite. But there's a difference between the individual and the group. And I think I got way off on a tangent here, my apologies. Ah. That's not a radical view. If we want mass reversals, why don't minority countries become white? Ah, well, that's because that's racist. That's racist. That's white supremacy. How dare you want to bring back colonialism there? And thank you, Nano Zatin, for the $11 reduce. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In Poland, a low IQ is an excuse in court. If you don't end up in prison, you'll be committed to a mental asylum. The same applies to people with mental illnesses. See, that's the right thing to do. Reopen the asylums. And even then, I still think there needs to be some strict limitations with the asylums too, because having low IQ, if you're a murderer and what the excuse is you have low IQ, I don't care if you have low IQ, you're not going to the mental asylum, you're going to the death row. Like, but if you're a low IQ and you are, I don't know, schizoing out on the streets, then yeah, you can go to the mental asylum in that case, because you clearly need help and no one's taking care of you because of XY, whatever reason is the case. Different story. But once you murder somebody, though, you get the death penalty. That simple. What was I was gonna do something else. But I don't know what else I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. My apologies. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Discord's back and working again. And Sleepy, the femboy that I'm capitulating to for watching this video, sent me a picture of what this guy, the bishop, looks like young, and he's quite handsome. He's a handsome lad, to say the least. No surprise there. No surprise there. But then again, I find most men attractive, which made me used to think that I would find no men attractive because every man, I have learned that I just find men attractive. Believe it or not, I have ovaries. And therefore I find the opposite of sex attractive. Because I'm just like, oh, you know, like all like I don't find men attractive normally. I go based off their personality, which is still the case, right? It's still very much the case that I go mostly based off personality. But like I do find majority of men attractive, hence why the personality is important, because like you're handsome. So you gotta you know, a little bit more than just the looks here. Amal just wants cock. True and real. I'm not gonna deny that. So yeah, he's a good man. I look a man. Okay, back to the video. He's still handsome in his old age. I would grave rob him.
But is this man God or isn't he? Oh, we would start fighting about that. That would start a religious war. We don't want religious wars. So we won't get into an argument whether we don't want any dogma. We don't want whether is he God or isn't he. We'll start fighting about that. Let's just all feel nice about him. And then we can all hold hands. That's well, no. The Inquisition says no. The Inquisition says, is he God or isn't he? If he is, we want a Christian civilization. If he isn't, then we better get rid of him. One or the other. Of course he is. Therefore, the Inquisition... Okay, chat made up a good point. I find most men attractive, goes to India. Are you sure about that? Fair enough. Most white men attractive. I should qualify that. Because I'm not attracted to the darkies. But I find white men attractive. Very much so. I've never been attracted to outside my race. I really never have. Like, I mean, maybe like light-skinned Mexicans. You know, but they're light-skinned and they do have some sort of mix within them. They're not white, but you know, they got the mix. You know, okay, I know. I guess the real damning thing. I don't think don't go darker than Italian, right? Northern Italians probably like the dark I would probably go, because there's some handsome Spaniards right there and Italians, but that's just probably as far, and that's about it. Like I just don't find I never found blacks attractive, never found Indians attractive, never found the really like dark skins just in general like attractive. Like, maybe some lighter skinned Middle Easterners, once again, the lighter skin, but, like, I'd rather date a white, like, an actual legitimate white man. Like, I've never been, like, attracted to the darkies. Ever. I've always found it kind of weird. Oh, and I don't like Asian men. I forgot Asian men existed.
Yeah, I've never understood the appeal of Asian men. There's the eye slits. I'm sorry. I know there's some Asian men that exist in chat. No, I know it's not your fault, but I just never felt. I just don't. I do not like the Asian men. They're just not attractive. They just look weird. And then blacks just look like apes. I'm not even joking. They really just do look like apes with the jaw jutting out like that and the fucking fat nose. The nose has always like disgustingly fascinated me before in the past with how big and white it is and flares up. And I'm like, this is disgusting. I feel bad for you guys for having that. And then I got older and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel bad for them anymore. It's a good signifier. Oh, I'm there. Oh. But anyways, I got no little tangent there. No another tangent.
Picked out heresy and defended the Catholic Church, defended Catholic civilization. The Inquisition was the kingship of Christ. The kingship of Christ, which you've just seen here. Christ being king over society. Christ being king over politics, king over economics, king over the arts, king over the universities, because he has a right to be. Yes. To try to tell that to people today, you might as well talk Greek. The kingship of Christ vigorously defended. And perfectly reasonably. But the liberals tell non-stop lies about the Inquisition, about how all the wickedness, the torture, they talk nonsense about the number of victims of the Inquisition. Reformation, how does for the Catholics, of course, the Reformation was a disaster. Instead of the Reformation was not the end of the beginning, it was the beginning of the end. And you can see why. Because it was the real outbreak of heresy. The beginning of the end. And instead of being the great breakthrough, it was the great breakdown. The Reformation was the great breakdown of Christian civilization. What are then Europe's religious wars? We could say Christendom's last chance. Not superstition's last fling. We're talking about Christendom, not superstition. Christendom's last chance. Had the Catholics managed to defeat the Protestants, then the whole thing would have been delayed another couple of 100 years. And we would have had many more souls sent to heaven before we had the downward rush to the Antichrist. Actually, God did intervene towards the end of the Middle Ages with a great saint to save Catholic civilization for another 100 years from the English. Anybody name that saint? Before the dear United States was a dream in anybody's eye, England was the problem. I am not abusing your dear country. Joan of Arc is correct, absolutely. A sheer gift of God. Was the Peace of Westphalia, was Christ dethroned in fact, not yet dethroned in principle. The Catholics don't say that Protestantism is okay. All that the Catholics are saying is that we've got to live and let live with the Protestants. You can see the slide from the fact to the principle. That's how it worked. And so what is the advance from fact to principle? What is the Enlightenment is increasing darkness.
I have to admit, this is reminding me of theology class. Like, I was on board with him for most of the video, but now I'm still not like completely against him. But once again, Vidor type an atheist, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here and my eyes are glazing over, and I'm just like, oh. It's something about the cadence that he's speaking, and on the whiteboard, I'm like, oh, this is theology class. I feel like I should be taking notes for like the exam that's happening here. He's like asking questions, and some guy responds back, and I'm like, oh, it's theology class all over again. There. I'm like, wait, I need to actually pay attention. I'm supposed to react to this, and I'm like, but yeah, whoopsies. Oh, where? I I know when I was in class, I was a good note taker. Like I would always take the notes and you know write whatever on the whiteboard, the chalkboard was on there and things like that. But I would absolutely have to draw. I had to draw because if I didn't draw, whenever they would not be like whenever I've got done actually writing, it got really hard for me to actually sit there and listen unless I was really absorbed in the subject. But even then, I still needed to draw to like so that way I could listen at the same time. Or else I would just wander off and daydream because I'm a horrible daydreamer. I daydream all the time. I get lost in my head 24/7. It's actually a problem. It's actually a problem, ironically. And so being able to draw allowed me to focus in at the same time. I'm assuming because it's usually like two parts of my brain. And I feel like I need to draw right now so I can listen to him. I mean, isn't this literally just a lecture? I fucking love this stuff. Yeah, like I love learning, right? Like I like this a lot. Though even if it's reminding me of theology class now. But cuz I like note taking. I like learning. But I also need to draw while doing it or else I'm just going to start daydreaming because I can't focus, I guess. I don't know. Some people need to divert mental resources to focus. I'm like the two can be annoying. Yeah, I used to get yelled at when I was younger for drawing in class. I'm like, I'm sorry. This literally helps me note take. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like perfect. Every once in a while, I get really absorbed in my drawing and not realize that I wasn't actually like paying attention, like I should. But if I was just doing like simple doodles and like I said, I collect my notebooks for most of the subjects that I like, and I still have some of the old ones. And you can just find little doodles from my different OCs I created, like in my notebooks at all time. And yeah, they're shitty, but like it was just a way for me to focus. So, what are you currently drawing? Nothing, because I don't draw anymore. I have given up on my drawing career many moons ago. Every once in a blue moon, I still draw. In fact, actually, I have been doodling while playing the Vampire campaign on Arch's channel, which, by the way, is this Sunday. This Sunday is going to be the next episode of the Vampire campaign, where I get to be a Nazi cat girl. I have been drawing while that because it's once again helping me focus because, like, this will sound kind of bad because I'm having lots of fun, but so sometimes, like when Arch goes on a monologue with the story or the rest of the team is doing their things, I kind of zone out a little bit. Not on purpose. It just kind of happens once again. So drawing helps me focus. In fact, I need to actually show for the people who are members on YouTube, the I forget which tier it is. I'm a bad shill. But there's a tier where you get special access to the Discord server, and I'm supposed to show my art and like things behind the scenes. The key is that 1, I need to draw, and 2, I need to have stuff behind the scenes. And at the moment, neither of them really have happened. So it's not exactly something I recommend spending your money on, actually. But if you would like to, and then maybe I could actually start posting my doodles from the Vampire campaign there more regularly. So anyway, I think that's the $10 subby bubby, I think. Anyway, membership on like Ko-Fi for the Discord server. Anyways, there's better things to spend your money on once again. It's not like I can post that stuff there, but I should for those that actually do. Classic Floyd. I'm sorry. I got a woman brain here. I was a dumbass and I still won, so I was drawing because I liked it more than learning subject. Chemistry's a bitch, so there was a lot more doodles. I did struggle with chemistry, but I liked learning. Like, I like learning the subject. I just needed something to refocus my mind on.
The light of Jesus Christ is going out. I am the light of the world. He that believeth in me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of eternal life.
Theology class.
I am the light of the world. Revolution is the dawn, the principle of liberty. It's Christ dethroned in principle. The French Revolution the American Revolution establishes the liberty of religion. The federal government is going to have no officially recognized religion. So Christ dethroned in principle. The 19th century is Christ dethroned more and more. He's just dethroned in the arts, he's dethroned in economics, he's dethroned in politics. Christ is just pushed more and more out of it, dethroned more and more, until we come to the wonderful 20th century, which we might well call the pits. The pits. Well, this is not a gloomy picture. This is simply a clear view of two completely opposite mentalities. And the problem for many Catholics is that they mix Catholic thinking and liberal thinking. And the two ways of thinking mixed inside one head make a contradictory mixture, a mush, yes.
One thing I noticed early on in the video is he uses lots of uhs and ums and takes a minute to think about his words. And like, he's literally me. Like, he's making me feel a little bit better about myself. Like, when he's on a roll, he's able to talk very eloquently and get his point across. But it makes me feel better about, like, oh, I'm doing it right now, actually, with my little pause right there, right? It's like, as a streamer, it's live that I'm yapping about this kind of stuff. And he's a live speaker. It's recorded, but, you know, hence why I'm noticing there's a lot more pauses and, like, there's a lot more transitions. So I'm not sure what's happening between them. Maybe he's having more of those, like, brain farts, but he's making me feel a lot better about myself. Because that's one thing, like, I am insecure about. It's how much I do trip over my words and make pauses, my uhs and my ums, and various things like that to try to, like, get my thoughts across. And I feel like I don't even, like, explain my thoughts even correctly a lot of the times too. But it's nice to see someone with much more confidence and skill and knowledge, even if I don't exactly agree with some of the knowledge he does have in his religious stuff, do basically the same thing. And it makes me feel better about myself. It makes me feel a lot better about myself. That's just public speaking? I don't know. Because, like, there's so many people that are much better about that. Like, Arch, Sargon, the two main ones that I've always listened to, obviously. The guys in the Lotus Eaters are great. Like, other live streamers in general that I used to watch, there are people that are much better at this stuff. I know there's a lot of people who, like, if it's a script in a public speech, then that's a different story. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. I definitely feel like I'm a lower quality on the scale overall. Does a practice scripts also help? Well, I'm not going to be scripting live streams. Like, there's, like, not exactly a script. There are definitely times where, like, I'm, like, taking a shower or making food or the case is, and I'm like, oh, this is a story I would like to tell chat sometime. And, like, speaking of me being a daydreamer, I would daydream how it would go in my head while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Like, I would tell you guys a story, and I played in my head how it would go, and how like I would like to phrase various things and the cadence, and, you know, maybe try to create some sort of funny moment out of it. And then I actually implement it, and then actually most of the time I forget to even do that. I forget the story I was going to tell, and if I do remember, it usually doesn't actually end up to be the way I originally planned. There. Amal, as someone who did public speaking, you're not that bad at it. You're 710 on public speaking. That is way too high praise. Way too high of praise, especially from you, Sleepy. But thank you. But still. You do have a good voice for narrating things? Well, thank you for thinking so. I've been told I have a good voice. I don't know. I feel like my voice is a little bit deeper. Maybe also, I don't know. Also depends on the day. Like, I noticed, like, today I feels like I'm a little bit, like, more stuck in my throat a bit more. Like, maybe if I can cough. Like, I can kind of feel it in my throat. Like, it's heavier. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm glad people like it. So. Oh. Anyway, well, back to the video. We're almost done. We got like 6 minutes left.
It makes 1950s Catholicism. The revolution was great, but Jesus Christ is great. Liberty is wonderful, but religion is wonderful. You can't have it both ways. Liberty, as of course understood by the liberals. So, what the popes, the encyclicals we're going to look at, come from this, are way down the pile. So that the encyclicals are Mother Church defending, the popes defending Christ from being dethroned more and more. Pope Pius IX, we're going to start with Quanta Cura tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Quanta Cura, so read it. Please read it. You may find it very difficult, I think, with some but read it, at least break your teeth on it by tomorrow morning. Read it again if necessary. And then when it's explained to you, you've got something to go at. Otherwise, if you don't read it at all, and I just explain it out of a clear blue sky, there's nothing there waiting to be put into position. Whereas you may not understand much if you read it on your own, but at least you'll have some inkling of what an explanation is all about. So these two, the mixture, many people are mixed up in their minds. For instance, many people today are confused. If you stop and think about it, stop and think. Somebody, a confused person you know, and I think you will almost certainly find, especially confused Catholics, because they're mixing some of this thinking with some of that. This is purely Catholic thinking, but to mix any of this with any of that is confusion.
Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem with Catholicism to this day, is the fact that it has completely been replaced by the liberal thinking here. Like, Jesus is kind of like an afterthought, it seems like. Like, I mean, they still make him front and center, like, oh, Jesus is wonderful, love Jesus, Jesus loves you, treat your neighbor as you want to be treated, Good Samaritan type of stuff. But it's nowhere near as vitriolic as it used to be. It's no more brimstone and fire coming out of it anymore. It's very watered down. And I remember, just going back to my Catholic school days here, I went to a very tiny Catholic school for elementary and middle school, and they were way more religiously oriented. Like, they still taught whatever the Pharisee was having them do, and it should have been no different than whatever the other Catholic schools in the area did. But the way that religion was handled with the teachers was way very, very strict, and very passionate about everything. And I remember my 7th grade science teacher going on daily rants about the world and the situation. This was back when I was in SJW, in this case, like when I was in 7th grade. And he would constantly talk about how California needs to just have another earthquake and drop into the ocean to get rid of the gays. And various other things that he would like rant about, and it would piss me off because I was, massive leftist. There, looking back, I find it fucking hilarious and actually kind of agree. But it's funny how times have changed. There, and then I get to high school, and it's a night and day difference. Like, they were so much open and freer. Now I knew that they had non-Catholics going there. There were like some atheists, or like I think there was there a Muslim? I can't remember. There was a couple non-Catholics, but they were far and few between. Most of the time, they just kind of like pretended to actually be Catholic just because they had to go through extra classes, for them in this case. But it was way more open, and then I thought to myself when I was younger, man, if my middle school was like this, I probably wouldn't have such a big problem with Catholicism. But then as I got even older and going through high school, by the end of it, I was thinking, wow. Catholicism has been subverted completely. I kind of hate this. It's definitely funny, the evolution there. But I think the more interesting aspect is the tiny little school in the middle of nowhere versus the Catholic school, high school in the big city. Just how it was just completely just same religion, right? Still Catholic, still a lot of the same teachings, but the passion wasn't there. The fire and brimstone wasn't there. They were just a lot more relaxed about the situation. I remember in one theology class learning about the gays, like how we're supposed to feel about the gays. And it was all about like, oh, they're humans too. God still loves them. You know, we don't know if they're actually going to go to hell because that's up for God to decide. We just know that that's not the path that they should live. And if you have a gay friend, you should try to like, you know, lead them down to a better path so they're not gay. But you know, but you shouldn't be harsh to them. You should still be nice. Which I mean, to be fair, on an individual basis, you still should be nice. But it was not that. It was nowhere near the same as my middle school, where the 7th grade teacher was talking about how they all need to drown in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, there. Oh. and then it's only gotten worse. Like when Pope God, I'm gonna get my popes confused, but I know Pope Francis was a complete poison. You can definitely look back and blame the Vatican too for the reason why liberalism is so incorporated within Catholicism and so permeated within it. But Pope Francis was the worst. And like he came in the fray and he was just a full-blown communist. I remember that was the real big kicker by the time I got to the end of high school was how bad he was. And I'm like, I don't think this actual communist. I don't think there's actual Catholicism here. I forget the Pope that died before. Was it Pope John Paul II? Because like I remember like I had a couple nuns at my elementary and middle school, and they loved him. They loved Pope John II. Like he was like everyone's favorite pope was Pope John Paul II, and I can't remember exactly what happened with him off the top of my head. And now we got the new pope here, Pope Leo, if I remember correctly. And he's slightly better than Francis, but he blessed a chunk of ice for climate change. And he's constantly talking about Trump and needs to, you know, stop focusing on immigration. Immigration is a good thing. Meanwhile, behind his beautiful gated walls at the Vatican. Like, fuck off out of here. Ugh, I hate it so much. Anything but the Pacific Ocean. I meant the Pacific, I'm sorry. Thank you, Philip, for the 500 warp tokens. Thank you. Well, it's an interesting afternoon. Have a good one, Mal. Behave, chat, lol, bye. Well, hasta la vista. Have a good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you again for the 500 warp tokens. Very, very nice of you. Very, very nice of you. The Pope made a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican. Like, what the fuck he did? I did not see that. I did not see that. Why are you Matt Pope blessing water? Because he wasn't blessing water. He was blessing a huge chunk of ice for climate change. There's a difference than blessing water and turning the holy water. This wasn't for turning the holy water. He was doing it for climate change. I kid you fucking not. Climate change. That is a leftist idea. Like with global warming. Or global cooling if you go back far enough with a conspiracy theory. Like, climate change is part of a good, huge component of the left. And as a psyop. Like, yes, the climate does actually change. A little bit. Over time. And I'm sure humans have probably made it a little bit worse. But it's not this big boogeyman that they try to make it out to be here. Thank you, Crystals, for the $10 reduce. Thank you. All look up Northern Ireland's peace walls. This is what sectarianism brought. Okay, hold on. I'll do that real quick. I know we're getting close to the end of the video. The peace walls. Northern Ireland peace walls. Here. The peace lines, I'm assuming? Belfast peace lines? Peace lines are peace walls or a series of separation borders. I can't read. Separation barriers in Northern Ireland that separate predominantly Irish, Republican, and Nationalist Catholic neighborhoods from a predominantly British Loyalist or Unionist Protestant neighborhoods. They've been built on urban interface areas in Belfast and elsewhere. How old are they? I know the Irish can get a little bit uppity, But what is this? This is like the Great Wall of China here. Uh, the timber peace walls were built in Belfast in the 1920s and 1930s. The first peace lines in the Troubles era were built in 1969, following the outbreak of civil unrest from the 1969 Northern Ireland riots. Okay, makes sense. Temporary structures, but due to their effectiveness, they become wider, longer, and more numerous and more permanent. Jesus Christ! The Irish are quite passionate about their religion. I can't understand that, I'll be honest. I don't understand that passion for religion. I mean, I guess once again, if we go back to the religion and ideology being basically the same, I guess I can kind of understand it there. But even then, I still don't have that same like vitriol behind me. I just can't. I just, especially from in the 90s. Like, what? Since the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, they've been increased both in height and numbers since 1998. Like, what the fuck is like they hate each other so much that even the year of our Lord 2026 they're still going at it. Like, what? 600 years of totally differently not war. Yeah, this is insane here. So if you go to Ireland, you have to decide which part to vacation on. Yes, I mean, I knew Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland have been split. I never really learned why. I just knew they had their own little civil war, and I thought it was because of Britain, like which one side's actually with England, which doesn't, situation. I knew they were quite violent. I knew they wanted to get away from the crown, like various things. But I just, it's still crazy to me. You just watch a whole lecture on why they would do this. But I don't see Bishop Richard Williamson going to be like, build the wall. Which we still need to finish this. Oh, we need to finish it quickly. But like, I don't see him doing that. I mean, he probably would advocate for it. Now that I think about it a little bit more, but it's just, I don't know. Seems a bit much. Seems just a bit much here.
You can meet some unconfused liberals. Most liberals are confused because common sense is actually all on this side. Common sense. All modern thinking is over here. The newspapers, television, the media, that's all this. But common sense is this. Common sense and our holy religion are this. False religions in the modern world are over there. Most people have the two mixed to a greater extent in their heads. And stop and think about somebody confused that you know, and think if their confusion doesn't arise from the fact that they are mixing these two contradictory ways of thinking. For instance, on abortion, they believe, well, you know, a woman does have rights over her body. Of course she has rights over her body. Our age is an age of human rights. But gosh, no, it is murder, you know. I mean, see, human rights, boom. Murder against the law of God, boom. The Ten Commandments here, human rights there. And the mixture of the two is what generates confusion in most confused people's minds. And so these revolutions are continuous. So you notice there is a continuity, there's a horizontal continuity. As each stage they come down, people try to hold that stage. But you can't do it. It's like trying to stop on the way down a mudslide. When you're on a mudslide, you can't stop. It just goes down. Each time you try to stop, but the pressure just pulls it down. The only answer, if you want to stabilize at any point on this slide downhill, you've got to bring back the Catholic Church. You've got to go back to Catholicism. You've got to go back to the anointing of a king or the equivalent. You've got to go back to God having authority, authority coming from God, and authority being recognized as coming from God. That's what matters. In other words, the kingship of Christ. The kingship of Christ.
He's talking about how we need to anoint Christ again, being about the kingship of Christ. You know, all this other stuff. I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, he's hot. just gooning over a priest. uh, yeah, it reminds me when I was at the funeral last year. There were the priest who took care of it, because once again, Catholic family here. He was so young. He looked like he was in his 20s, probably like later 20s, mid to late 20s. And the whole entire time I was thinking to myself, he was too hot to be a priest. It was like, you're wasting your great genes, right? You should be having kids and having more white babies with that. I mean, I appreciate your service to God, and it's nice. It's actually kind of nice to see like a white man in the Catholic Church, because oh my fucking God. Okay, that's another problem I have with the Catholic Church, is the fact that how many Browns are within it. I swear, with each passing year, there's less actual white priests, and we just keep on importing them from the third worlds. Like, it's almost impossible to understand going to mass because of just how thick their accents are. They're it's all around. It started happening when I was a kid, and it just got it's gotten worse with time. And it's just like, so it was in a nice, in a weird way, right? It was really refreshing and relieving to see a young white man getting involved with the church and becoming a priest, because that's what should happen. At the same time, he was too hot to be a priest. And I was just like, huh, I know I'm probably doing some sacrilegion right now, but I've heard of priests leaving the church over women. Just saying. Oh, that's true. It's what keeps me out of the church. Yeah, like they just keep on coming in. Like, and it's just like they just honestly replace. I have obviously haven't been to church other than the funeral recently, but when I was younger, it's just no matter where you go, and even now, right? Because my dad's wife has gotten him back into religion because she's super religious herself. And they talk about the church that they go to where she lives, and about how they have like a Spanish speaking mass, and they like every Sunday they have like Spanish food there, or Mexican food, and various other things, and there's a very big Mexican community speaks Spanish, and how wonderful it is. And I'm just sitting here like, can I call ice on all of them? Like, I might just show up to mass one day with them, be like, oh yeah, when we get back to the church, it calls ice. And it's like, and keep in mind, we live out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, middle of fucking nowhere. And then apparently somewhere where she's at, there's a big enough Mexican community where they have to have Spanish mass in this small ass town. I hate it. I hate it so much. Get out of here. Go back to Mexico.
That's what matters. Now, does it have to be the anointing of a king? The anointing of the king is the old-fashioned way of doing it, because it had the advantage, just like all of the sacraments have the advantage of being visible and tangible. Everybody could see the Archbishop of Reims taking this on, and then they could see it glistening on the king's forehead. They could see authority being divinely bestowed upon their king, even if he was a jerk. And the moment he was anointed, even if he was a jerk, people still obeyed, and the system worked. To work a system, it's not essential that you don't have jerks in the system, as long as it helps not to have jerks in the system. It helps quite a lot. But Catholicism doesn't work on the individuals and just on the value of the individuals. Catholicism works on a structure, on the idea of a hierarchy which is recognized by everybody independently of the value of the individuals forming it. Which is why, you may remember, the Catholic saints have such respect for a priest, even if he's a jerk. Because the fact that, humanly speaking, he's a jerk is not important alongside the fact that he carries this immense dignity by his ordination. If he misuses that dignity, he will answer to God for it. A Catholic knows that. A Catholic is not concerned about whether a bad priest is going to get his comeuppance. He's sure to get it in terribly from God.
See, this is where my liberal stuff kind of comes in, right? Me being a product of modernity, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if he's a jerk, right, he's being an ass. That is, like, and it's not, like, there's a time and place for fire and brimstone religious stuff, right? Like, the Crusades were justified that there are times where it's good to be an asshole. And so, being an asshole in itself is not the problem. The way he's phrasing though is like the priest in general is always just a dick, and nobody likes people who are just dicks, okay? Like, women like taking them, and women like dating them, but they don't actually like them, you know? And I feel like you can have respect for the church in itself, right? You can have respect for religion and his role in it, but I just can't, like, if he's an asshole and he's acting, you know, at the antithesis of what he's actually preaching, then it's just like, I'm not gonna have respect for him. I understand the belief that, you know, the priest as a human he's still human, right? He's still gonna have sin. I understand, that he's not perfect and there's still that human nature within him, but it's still just, I just can't, just once again, one of those things I just can't, right? It's some things I just can't, kind of like get around that in itself, there. I do think this devotion to the priesthood and its levels is part of the problem with the Catholic Church, because of thinking that they are, well, not infallible, right? They don't think the priests or the bishops or the cardinals are infallible, but there is definitely lots of excuses that get made for them, and hence why there was the Protestant Reformation, because they were able to have the indulgences, they were abusing their power, and they weren't being called out, they weren't being held accountable, and then, you know, Luther did that, and then the Protestants split off, and he actually had valid criticisms of it, and we're kind of seeing the same thing right now, right? Where the papacy has been completely ruined after Vatican II. It's only getting worse and worse. And this Bishop Richard Williamson guy has split off from him, which is good. And at least in my opinion, because I agree with him. But at the same time, like, there's still that devotion to people that because of the fact that they're supposed to be imbued by God, that's causing the rot to begin, that's allowing the rot to happen in the first place. That is how I see it from the outsider looking in. Yeah. It's funny. They say the Pope's infallible, but not even the Pope was infallible. See, that's the thing, right? Now we have two different perspectives here. Also depends on where you stand with your religion, right? Where you stand in Catholicism, how old-fashioned you are, how new you are, various things like that. Because when I was in Catholic school, we were taught that the Pope is still human, but because he is taking he is in St. Peter's, you know, spot, right? Being the rock of the church, he is the closest thing to God on earth. And any religious, basically, he wasn't infallible, but he was at the same time. It was it's kind of hard to explain. Any religious proclamations had to be taken like by word, right? Everything he said, any statements he made, I've ever like were handed down like candy to be like revered upon. And I know they're trying to be like these more new Catholics or more modern day Catholics, because trying to be like, oh, his political opinions don't matter, he's still just human. But that's not exactly how it was treated within Catholic school. His opinions did matter because he's the Pope. He has immense power. Like, he's not infallible, but to criticize the papacy is borderline sacrilegious, and there are rules and regulations against it where you can be excommunicated for doing so. I forget all the different methods to do it, but we were taught about that. It's very taboo to criticize the Pope within Catholicism. and it has to be within the council of the archbishops. Sorry, the council of the cardinals to handle anything that any heresy the Pope might actually say, not the average person. You, the plebeian, should not be basically criticizing the Pope. Pope infallibility just applies to his job. It's like being the president. Wait, it's like the president not being responsible for his acts while in office. So the problem is the president's only in office for about 4 to 8 years. Pope infallibility goes until he dies. It was only the one that stepped down with Benedict. I think that Benedict the 16th was the one that stepped down, if I remember correctly. And he was like the first pope ever to actually like step down, which was really strange. That happened when I was a really young child, so I don't remember all the details that happened with him. But I remember everyone, like, it was all the rage because never before has a pope actually stepped down. It's always lost his papacy in death, but before. And the church having that much power is what inspired rebellion against it. Yeah, like when it comes to authoritarianism, there needs to be a balance there, because if you go too far, then you're going to create dissenters, and it's going to cause a revolution. Will it be violent or more peaceful, depending on how it works? It's a really rough situation considering our recent popes. I get why some find the whole thing distasteful, but oh well, it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't like it personally, but it's... my biggest problem with religion is believing in one specific God. And... that's my biggest hold up there. If I'm going to be interested in, like, religion as a community aspect, I'd probably just go the orthodoxy.
But that's not what matters, so to speak. But the structures, it's not just individuals. Today, there's only the individual left. All structures have been gutted. They're valueless. They've got no substance left to them. All that's left is individuals. You can't run a society like that.
Oh, that was the end of it. Whoops. I know it was really close to the end, but I didn't realize it literally like 5 more seconds and it would have been over. Whoopsies. Oh well. I mean, that was a good speech. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but the femboy was right about Superior Jordan Peterson. This was a good speech, and I know things got quite heated in chat. I know quite a few times, and I know there's been lots of disagreements, but I see it seems to be. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this, despite how contentious it all is, because I enjoyed the speech myself. Like, especially the very beginning of it, criticizing liberalism, because I'm always down to criticize liberalism myself personally. There. And then once we got to the theology, that's when I was like, okay, you know, like it's important to talk about, and I do talk about it a lot, even though I am a fedora type and atheist myself. But it's yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to do so, if you know what I mean here. I wish that people cared more about the kinfolk, like the desert spirit. Wait, I wish more people... hold on. I wish people cared more about their kinfolk than a desert spirit. I wish the same thing too, but at the same time, religion does give that community sense, which is a good thing. And so I would be okay with both of them coexisting if they could actually work together like it used to before in the past. But the problem is it doesn't happen anymore. So hence why we got this massive split. Like for even though I don't believe in the religion aspect of this stuff, what he was describing with how the history works and how it all how it creates the liberalism, and you can actually see the decline in society, and the lack of religion is a consequence of it. And some people would say is the cause of it in itself, and I think both are actually true there. It was very interesting, not just the video, but the chat discussions. Good. I'm glad you liked it. I loved it. Good. I can't believe. I can't believe the femboy was right. Can't believe the femboy was right. We got rid of religion. Thanks from the crap. Maybe just a coincidence. Yeah, well, this is the first time in human history that we got rid of religion. Because religion's always been immensely important with all cultures and all people throughout the entirety of the human society. Now, not all cultures are equal, not all religions are equal, there's definitely some worse ones out there, but you cannot deny that religion is an important aspect within humanity to motivate it and keep it go forward and pass down traditions there. And this is the first time we've actually completely gotten rid of religion within, like, and become secular, and we have lots of good things in the modern world, right? You get to watch a stupid woman on the internet with an anime avatar, right? In this case, and you know, there you got AC. Oh god, I'm a slut for AC. I would die without AC, right? You got cars, trains, and planes. You know, we got food on demand, whenever we want. Like, we don't have to make stuff anymore. We don't have to make clothes. We don't have to make the thread to make the clothes. You know, like, there's lots of inventions that happen within modern society because of the Western inventions and Western thinkings, because of the Enlightenment, because of how we've progressed. But we've also lost a lot in the process, and we're going to be losing Western society because of it at the same time, and frankly, it's not worth it. I will make my own thread to make my own clothes if we can have a homogeneous white society once again, without any Muslims, any Jews, any blacks, any woman in any position of powers, of gays being, you know, shunned to society and kept in secret, trannies being a million to one possibility from ever happening, and lack of degeneracy, happy families, multiple kids. Like, I would give that up in a heartbeat, even if it means losing my AC and actually having to do a hard day's work in my life. Because that's what's better for society. It's always been better for society. It's always been better for humans. And yeah, here we are. Technology's good, but we need the spirit and mythos of our people. See, I would agree there. Like, but we also can't let... We can't let religion... We can't let... religion completely dictate at the same time. Just because if... mostly because of how I believe what the Catholic Church works today, right? Or, I've been mostly attacking the Catholic Church. Keep in mind, I don't like Protestantism either. Like, Luther had some good points against the Catholic Church back in the day, but modern day Protestantism is also complete DI woke fest there too. Like, with all the rainbow flags, the woman preachers, the gays and involved, like, they are worse than the Catholic Church in a lot of ways. There. And just it's completely been, communism has completely subverted everything about the West, from our culture to our religion to our powers, and it sucks. It really fucking sucks. Things like Star Wars are part of the Western mythos now, but feminists had to destroy it. Yeah, even the more modern inventions that are good about have been completely ruined by feminism. Return to Luther. I don't know if I'm gonna go that far. But, anyways. But before I leave you guys tonight, first off, one, Kick Bros deserve a shout out. We have hit over 2,000 followers on Kick today. So thank you very, very much, my Kick Bros. You know you're my favorite child. Sorry, I mean, I have no favorite children. But thank you guys. Thank you for 2,000 followers on Kick. That's a lot of people on Kick. I know there's a lot of overlap with those on YouTube, but like, for Kick being a small platform, or smaller platform compared to Twitch and YouTube, and me being a small creator in general, 2,000 is a pretty big number. You know, if we're gonna be number fagging here. So thank you guys for that. I really greatly appreciate it, because I do love Kick. I do like promoting Kick and supporting it. And it's nice to have more of you guys here. So thank you so much. Thank you for that. Like, seriously. And then the YouTube bros, don't worry. I will thank you too. I know you guys hit the super chat goal a long time ago. And I purposely ignored it because of there is I'm not sure if he's listening right now. He probably is, but who knows? But that there is somebody, a concerned troll, that likes to cause drama there and trying to make me read stuff out via super chats, and I was purposely ignoring it because of the context around them and everything like that. So technically the goal was hit a long time ago, but I know there's been other people that have super chatted that were not him. I just kind of lost track of which ones were actually genuine versus which one was the asshole. And so my apologies for no P.E.P.E hoodie today, even though you guys hit the goal, and I do appreciate the generosity there. Just gotta avoid that type of stuff. There. Concerned trolls, I get it. Yeah, dude needs to be in pedestal. Well, yeah. Anyways, yeah, there's a reason why I ignore him. So we'll just leave it at that. There. Oh, thank you to the chickens for the $2 reduce. Thank you. Thank you for the stream. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And thank the femboy for actually having a good taste for being a femboy there. Because it was fun. And I like talking to you guys, chat. I hope you had a nice Floundering Friday. For Kick Bros, I'm sending you over to Mizuki. She is political, but but follow her rules. Don't be too spicy. Don't get her banned or anything like that. She's a good girl. There. So enjoy her. And then YouTube Bros, I'm sending you over to Arch, because he's a Swede, and you should harass him. He's not going to acknowledge you guys, because he's a Swede, but still, have fun with Arch. I'll be with him on Saturday for the Milking Farm reading, and then we'll be doing the next episode of the Vampire Campaign on Sunday. And then after the Vampire Campaign on Sunday, in the Discord server, we'll be having movie nights. So it's gonna be quite the loaded weekend overall. So yeah. Thank you everybody for your subby bubbies, donos, and vigorous spankings. You were quite generous today. Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow under the bridge with V on V's channel, then Archcast, and then probably a gaming stream to kind of make a nice chill night. Overall, we'll see unless something crazy happens. You know the chill there. So yeah. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hopefully no burping as I end the stream. Bye.